Mayor is going to be a few minutes late, so I'm going to be flying this plane for a little while. And I see we have a quorum, so I'm going to call the meeting to order for the afternoon of November 3rd, 2020. Tony, can we have a roll call, please?
Jimenez,
Present.
Perales,
Here.
yep. Roscoe, Davis,
Here.
Esparza,
Here.
Arenas, Foley,
Here.
Camus,
Here.
Jones,
Present.
Licardo. Okay, I'm going to go back to Dieppe, Carrasco, Arenas.
Here, Tony, thank you.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can you please, everyone, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United States
of
of
America
America and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, today's invocation will be provided by Finney Abraham, local compassion pastor, Westgate Church, and executive director of Beautiful Day. Councilmember Camus will tell us more.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As you discussed, Finney Abraham is a local compassion pastor at Westgate Church, which is in my district, although he lives in District 6. He's also an executive director of Beautiful Day. A couple of weeks ago, in fact, on October 17th and 18th, Beautiful Day conducted their annual volunteer event. Over 1,300 volunteers gave over 6,300 volunteer hours to work at 21 different projects across Santa Clara County, including a couple in my district where we, beautify the Park Ranger Station and Almaden Lake. Finney has been bringing faith communities together to mobilize their kindness and generosity for the betterment of our city and our county. And I think we have Finney on the line now, I hope.
Mayor Sam Licardo, council members, and other city officials, good afternoon. My name is Finney Abraham. I'm one of the pastors at Westgate Church. First of all, let me start by thanking you all for the work that you're doing in the midst of this pandemic to keep our communities safe. I hear that some of these meetings go all the way to 12 a.m. I pray that God will give you more patience during this time. Westgate Church, along with other faith communities, have not backed out from our commitment to love and serve our community. Yes, we are not meeting in person for our worship gathering, but we continue to worship God by loving and caring for our neighbors and one another who are in need. Since shelter in place, we have stepped up in caring for the elderly, helping those who are houseless and living in cars by opening up our church parking lot, opening up food pantry that would take care of the needs of folks in our community. And also, along with the mayor's office, we are working on a campaign called as United Against the Poverty Pandemic. We're asking folks in our community to be generous and to hire more and hire local for the economic recovery of our city. Now, we are doing this because of the fundamental belief we have that the Creator God has shown grace and generosity to imperfect people like me and you. And because of that, we are called to show the same level of grace and generosity to people around us in our community. As it is written in our Holy Scripture, in Micah chapter 6, verse 8, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. I believe if our leaders can do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly, the leadership of our city will be in good hands. Let me pray for us as you begin this meeting today. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your generosity and kindness to all people. God, we pray for our city and the pressing needs that we have in our city right now. We pray for our mayor and all the council members and the leadership and the decisions that they've been making during this time. God, I pray that you give them wisdom. I pray that also for their families, that you would protect them and bless them. But I also pray for all the city staff, the city manager's office, the EOC, and all the departments of the city, the hard work and the sacrificial work that they're putting to keep us safe in the city. But I pray that you would bless them and you would give them peace and joy as they do this work. I pray especially for this meeting today. I pray for the decisions that will be made today. I pray that folks will be able to make this decision with kindness and justice in their heart, Lord. And I pray that you would give them the wisdom to make the right decisions. We thank you, we praise you. I personally ask this and pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, on to orders of the day. Does anyone on the council have any changes to the printed agenda? If not, we'll move on to closed session report.
Good afternoon. There is nothing to report coming out of closed session.
Thank you. Next is the consent calendar. Are there any items that the council wants to pull from the consent calendar? I already have Councilmember Arenas who wants to pull item 2.10. Are there any other items that my colleagues want to pull? If not,
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
all right, it's been moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, Tony, can we have a roll call, please?
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Carrasco,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
and Licardo's absent. Thank you.
Okay, so item 2.10, Councilmember Arenas.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Sat City Akal to all. Good afternoon. I'd like to commemorate today, November, as Sikh Awareness Month. And with me today is Sukhdev Benewal, who's representing the San Jose Sikh Gurdwara Sahib. And as you all know, this is the largest Gurdwara outside of India, the Golden Temple. And so I'm really proud that we have a very strong and wonderful and generous, very giving community in our Gurdwara. We also have, if you didn't know, a Boy Scout troop out there, and they host an annual blanket drive, which really goes directly to our unhoused community. They also have a lot of work that goes towards disaster relief and food distribution, just to really name a few things. We really want to honor our Sikh American community this month as we renew our commitment to fighting against discrimination, against racism, and against social injustices, and to really raise awareness about the Sikh community and who they truly are. And I think you will all enjoy this video from Sukhdev that allows us to learn a little bit more about our Sikh community in San Jose.
It appears I'm having an issue with the audio on this. Can I have a second to play around with it and maybe we can come back to the video? If that's possible.
Sure. Um,
Councilmember Arenas, did you have anything further on this before the or after the video? Okay.
No, thank you so much, Mayor.
This is where we stall for time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Councilman Burns, get help.
Well, you know, if given an opportunity, I will
I think I
always
might have
brag
figured it
about
out,
our
actually.
Sikh community. And let me tell you, this summer, they really stepped up on PPE and food distribution. As you know, every day of the year, anybody can walk into the Gurdwara and receive a free meal. But they really enhanced that plan so to make sure that nobody goes hungry during this pandemic. But I'm glad to see that the video is now working so we can learn more directly from them.
Good job.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this is Sukhdev Singh Baniwal presenting on the Sikh Awareness Month, which we celebrate here in the United States and in San Jose in the month of November. Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world, as you can see here, 25 million Sikhs worldwide. Sikhs migrated from northern India to different parts of the world, Northern America, Australia, Europe, and other places. 750,000 around estimated to be here in the United States. Largest concentration in California. Punjab region in northern India is where it originated by Guru Nanak in 1469. It's a monotheistic religion. The core values are always remember God, and then earn an honest living, and share what you have with others, especially the needy. Guru Granth Sahib is our holy scripture, written in Punjabi script. The 5 Ks, the Sikhs were the 5 Ks. They're the long unshorn hairs, Kanga, Kara, Kirpan, and Kashara. Sikhs came to the United States in the early days to work on railroads and agriculture. There's a Sikh in the military also, and at this time, and in the police. Turban is a distinct identity of the Sikhs that they always wear. It's a symbol of equality, sovereignty, and freedom. Both men and women can wear this. And 99% of the Sikhs living in the United States are Sikhs. There's the different types of turbans that you will see, kids wearing them, women. And proud to be in San Jose, where we have the largest Sikh Gurdwara in Northern California. First Sikh troop is also in San Jose, Troop 600. And then we have the largest Hola Mohalla outdoor cultural, Sikh cultural and sports event that happens in San Jose. And the largest Punjabi school is in San Jose also. Giving back to the community is one big part that the San Jose community does by in different ways. Annual blanket drive is done for the needy. Monthly homeless shelter dinners are provided. A disaster relief, any type that comes, we will go and present there, whether it be food or other essentials. In time of COVID, we had helped medical workers, providing them with supplies of food or other hand sanitizers and masks. And here's a food drive that happened at the San Jose Gurdwara also. Thank you for having me here to present on Sikh Awareness Month. Thank you again. Bye.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Vice Mayor, for taking on the meeting early on here. Councilmember Rance, did you want to say anything further?
No, thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Motion to approve, actually.
Second.
Now, I'll need a little bit of help here, Vice Mayor. We are at the point where the rest of the consent calendar has been approved, or?
That is correct.
Okay, wonderful. On the motion,
Although I have to say, we did not vote for it, did we?
Yes, we did.
Okay, sorry.
okay. There are two members of the public who have their hands raised. So I'll ask them if they wanted to speak specifically on Sikh Awareness Week. Tessa Woodmansee, did you want to speak on this item?
Well, the order of operations was missed by Vice Mayor because I had my hand up. Now, whoever controls the hand puts it down a lot. So we don't know. I need to look into who controls the hand because my hand gets removed a lot. So we need to look into that. But I had my hand up for the consent calendar because we were looking at other things in the consent calendar, but he didn't address the public first. So that was order of operations before you voted.
Would you
And
like to
so
speak on
what?
the calendar now?
Yeah, I am good. Right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Liccardo. Appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the Sikh awareness, I appreciate that and wanted to mention that the Sikhs are vegetarian. The other group that's in India that's very popular are the Jains, and they are about no harm for any life. They're very critical about that. They don't harm any life. And so I was thinking that in honor of the Sikhs and their work with the community and caring for the community, and I know that the city of San Jose has been providing meals. I think we need to go towards a vegan option in all our meals, just like they did at the ball for, anyway, for, the artists and the, theater, that they changed their meals to be vegan. And I think we should create all vegan meals. And then on top of it is that we provide for our community. On top of that, in terms of the airport, was very concerning, the environmental mitigation. Yeah, the environmental mitigation for the airport is it needs to be changed so that we stop flying all of the airport, like one of the people that's going to be running for city council said, he's from Nebraska. He says, the airport is flat. It needs to be land. We need to grow food at the airport. The airport will eventually, because it's not essential, and we need to get back to our essentials, needs to become an eco-village. That's the true environmental mitigation that needs to happen at the airport, is it needs to be stopped, and we need to stop flying and stop driving.
Oh, okay. Mr. Beekman?
Hi. What Tessa said, public comment was not asked for before the consent calendar was approved. So I'd like to acknowledge the Sikh Awareness Month, I guess, and say hello. Thank you for such an idea. With item 2.7 and airport environmental issues, a simple reminder to try not to be so easily satisfied with efficient new EIR quality ideas for the San Jose Airport. Take the time to look for and respect other pollution factors. This item seems it can be related to the long-term issues of both San Jose and the city of Santa Clara. In this time of elections, I wanted to thank San Jose City Council for much patience and compromise they had this past January 2020 in working how to interpret Regional Measure B funding issues for the North San Jose and City of Santa Clara area. I felt it brought out some of the better parts of our human nature, from policymakers to advocacy to everyday community all around the county and even the VTA. Together, there was good work and good compromise towards important green ideas and solutions while working to also respect decades-long ideas of possible middle to high-income housing developments in North San Jose, City Santa Clara area. To conclude, with the overall ideas of environmental sustainability from the TE meeting yesterday, I was fairly impressed by the tree, foliage, and green ideas from the final speaker, Josh Quigley, working with Save the Bay yesterday, as I did not have time in my own public comment to speak about the initial better intentions of Vision Zero ideas. Green environment and sustainability, community harmony, even the open community better government services, these are the ideas that San Jose has been working on for over 5 years and even decades earlier. Good people that have been working towards positive, sustainable practices and shared good dialogue long before the arrival of COVID-19. Thanks a lot. Have a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. In light of this testimony relating to other items on the consent calendar, would anyone like to wish to reconsider their vote on the consent calendar? Okay, I'm seeing no hands this time. So we'll move forward and vote on the motion on the floor, which is item 2.10 relating to Sikh Awareness Month.
Jimenez,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 3.1 is the report of the city manager. Dave?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We have no report today.
3.3 are food distribution agreements for meal and grocery delivery requests meal and grocery delivery RFP. Councilmember Peralta, I understand, will recuse himself from 3.3A relating to the health trust, but will otherwise be voting. Looks like there's a presentation.
There is. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council, members of the public and city staff. Dolan Beckel here, Director of the Emergency Operations Center, or EOC Food Branch. Joining me today is CJ Ryan, our EOC Food Branch Contracts and Fiscal Unit Lead. Keeping with Vice Mayor Jones' analogy on airplanes, today is CJ's last council meeting as first officer, and I'm excited to let you know next week she's going to be in the captain seat presenting on our food grants for unmet needs. So if approved, the outcome of today's report on the request for proposal, or RFP, for meal and grocery delivery will enable an additional 800,000 meals to be provided to San Jose's vulnerable, at-risk, and COVID-19 impacted communities, further reducing food insecurity in our city through the end of the year. On October, my machine is not, there we go. On October 20th, we reported to council our intent to transition to 2 competitive procurements in an effort to maximize federal reimbursement. This report is for the first procurement for meal and grocery delivery to homes. The RFP sought proposers that have experience in delivering prepared meals or groceries to individuals' homes, and also partners that can comply with the provisions for federal funding. The selected vendors will be responsible for marketing the program, identifying potential participants, and screening for eligibility. The eligibility criteria are: 1, individuals must meet the Center for Disease Control definition of high risk for COVID-19, or the individuals must have suffered from employment or business interruptions due to COVID-19, and the individual does not currently have other assistance purchasing food or cooking meals on a consistent basis. Specifically, the 2 organizations recommended for contract award are: 1, the Health Trust for adult meal delivery with a maximum compensation of $264,000, Off the Grid for adult and youth meal delivery with a maximum compensation of $622,400, and Off the Grid for grocery delivery with a maximum compensation of $2,313,360. The terms of these agreements are retroactive to maximize the use of funds, which must be spent by December 30th, 2020, and to quickly identify the needs of residents who are facing food insecurity. In total, these agreements will provide an estimated 800,000 meals through the end of 2020 to expand set of residents in the city of San Jose. This increased capacity, importantly, spans through the holiday season where food security is of greatest risk. Should be noted, these contracts may be extended through to December of 2021, subject to the appropriation of funds. This concludes the presentation, and we are available for questions.
Thank you, Dawn, and congratulations, CJ. We will move to public comment first. Tessa?
Thank you. This is Tessa Woodman C, talking about the food distribution and the issues that we're facing in our community with COVID-19. And we need to focus our attentions on the people. And that has been some of the problems of how we have focused as a nation, as a state, and as a city. Our resources have been going towards businesses and supporting businesses to keep our economy going. And I realize now we're talking about food issues, and I appreciate that we're having to deal with the basic needs of our community. And what we need to do is really start reinforcing the strength of our neighborhoods and the strength of our individual citizens in our community. And providing food is good, but like we've said before, or I've said before, you teach a man to fish, he'll never go Hungary. And the same thing goes with food production. We really need to become a resilient community, and that comes from growing our own food and becoming urban sustainability. And we have to work concurrently, as this COVID-19 is our teacher to saying how we need to prepare for our climate crisis that is coming. And one of the issues is, we're seeing that food security is a real concern, that we need to become food secure. And what is sustainability? The determination or the definition of sustainability is something that can go on forever. And we most probably cannot be delivering food forever because we need to be fossil fuel free. And we need to start working on creating gardens around the whole city to become urban sustainable, and all of our yards to everybody should be growing food in any place that there's dirt. And this is what we need to start doing, is creating this resiliency in our community and helping people to grow food. And so that is what we need to move towards. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beekman?
Hi, hopefully I can offer a nice variation of what Tessa just offered. I've been eating healthier since COVID-19, and I've been eating more vegetables and, good food. And that's been keeping me healthier and keeping me just in a better frame of mind. For all the food that you'll be getting, and for this item, it's important that where we're getting the food from, the people who, work on that food and create the food and farm the land, they need a good worker rights. They need their rights. They need their health rights. And we're learning how to respect that more, which I find hopeful and interesting. And when we do that, it creates a food chain. That's the food chain, and that creates a better practices all the way around. We end up getting better food then, and we end up eating healthier and being healthier, and then it goes back to offer good practices to the farm community about what can be good worker rights and good practices. And for the owners in those situations, the landowners, for them to really, listen to that and respect it, that creates our loving community and a really good process. And I think we're learning that in California. I hope we are. I'm always a little more optimistic than things, but that's my hope for what this issue can really work towards. And so thanks for this item and just all the moving parts that are a part of it and the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, returning to council, just a couple questions. Dolan, on page 3, there is a reference to the disqualification in Second Harvest because they're unable to meet federal funding reporting requirements. Could you just tell us more what that's about?
Yeah, I think this is a good situation for CJ. If you don't mind coming on and explaining the discussion we had with Second Harvest and specifically those federal requirements.
Sure. When we released the RFP, since it's being funded by CRF, it has all the federal reporting requirements along with it. And when Second Harvest submitted their proposal, they did not agree to comply with those agreements. So purchasing did offer all bidders the chance to sort of rebid and make sure that that was their answer. And that was the response that they had. So.
Okay. So this wasn't an issue having anything to do with the Department of Agriculture's mandate to put in a letter saying, given to you by President Trump, nothing like that.
No, it was not, Mayor, and this was a mutually agreed declination.
Okay.
And you'll be seeing in future meetings, Second Harvest is going to be getting some additional funding regardless. And Second Harvest did manage themselves that flyer that was in the box.
Yeah, thanks. And then I don't know if you've heard this, but I won't tell you the school district. I can tell you offline because I don't want to point fingers yet. But I heard from a couple of parents that they were notified by a school district in San Jose that the school district had too much food and was urging people to come go pick it up. And I know that, we're trying to manage a lot of partners or, work with a lot of partners, certainly. But have you been hearing anything like reports like that?
We haven't, Mayor. We will follow up with Dr. Dewan who
Okay.
we meet with weekly now at the county Office of Education level, and see what the root of that story is. As you may be aware, on October 1st, we kind of transitioned a number of accountabilities back to the county, and this was one of them. So we are not directly serving any food to schools, except we're kind of supporting our Rock and Learns program. So we'll go back to Dr. Dewan and see, at a minimum, if there's a way we can help get that food to a different destination, if there are any excesses, but we're not directly accountable for that right now.
Okay, thanks, Dawn. I'll get you more information offline. Councilmember Arenas?
Thank you, Mayor. I know that for District 8 residents, it seemed like the need for food is climbing, and it's recognized by the folks from Off the Grid. And so I just want to make sure that they continue to raise awareness around 95122. In my district, obviously, people know it as Evergreen, but we do have a large portion of the district that has been impacted by COVID. That's 95122, and then of course 95148 over on the Mount Pleasant side. And so I just want to make sure that we continue to be, and I see you shaking your head, Dylan. So I know this is you're in tune with this. I just wanted to make sure that we continue to target these areas, and despite being in a district that may not seem like is always a necessity, but there's definitely a large portion of my district that is a strong middle class. Of course, a lower income neighborhoods that absolutely need our support. But all of us at this point just need additional support. And so I appreciate the nod from the Off the Grid folks that seem just very motivated to hear that from us and to continue to reach out to District 8 residents.
Yes, we met with them 2 weeks ago, and actually we're meeting with them tomorrow. And in both instances, we showed them kind of the need by zip code and the need by district. And they're targeting both digital and analog forms of communication for those who can't afford access to the internet. We're also partnering with them to get the word out through flyers in multiple languages. So we're actually reinforcing the message tomorrow, assuming this gets approved today.
I'm really glad to hear you say that, Dylan, because that was actually going to be my next point. And you know that you've heard me say we really need to make sure that we reach those hard to reach communities, because those are the last ones kind of in the line of resources, if you will. And so we always need to think of them first in mind. So I appreciate that comment, I appreciate the effort, and motion to approve.
Let's see if we can bifurcate that motion. Is that all right with you, Councilmember Arenas? I believe we could take everyone to vote on B, C, and D together. Would you be willing to take that motion first?
Absolutely. Motion to approve with item B and C.
B, C, and D, I believe.
I apologize. B, C, and D.
Okay. Great. Councilmember Esparza?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank the team for this important work, and particularly to thank Off the Grid and the Health Trust for their partnership. I know that they focus a lot on food quality. We've had some discussions with them, especially with Off the Grid, about the quality of the food, because if that's all folks are getting, then that becomes even that much more important. And I also wanted to point out that Off the Grid has been a really good partner in getting the word out. I believe District 7 might have the most signups at this point, but they've been a really good partner in getting the word out to folks that, especially those who have, for one reason or another, not been able to sign up for some of the other programs out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Diep.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. The sweet talkers these Off the Grid people are, because they told my office that District 4 had the most signups so far. Anyways, I just want to reinforce the messaging on how good they're doing a job. I want to raise that I actually saw ads that they put up on Instagram, and I'm just I'm pleased with that. But it also just kind of occurs to me that I don't think we've seen the city do that previously, even with, during the pandemic or Silicon Valley Strong or any of that. And I just want to flag that because I do think that it opens up a whole new avenue of, digitally savvy youngsters, millennials, whatever, to be aware. And in the future, whether it's, safety messaging, COVID messaging, food access, whatever else, we should make use of these avenues. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Diab, and thank you for unmasking the, the delusion. So we are only voting on B, C, and D. So Councilmember Pross can join us for this. Let's vote.
Jimenez,
Aye.
Peralez,
Thank you, Mayor. Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe, Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Locardo.
Aye.
Can I go back to Crosco?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Then on the remaining item A, I guess we have a motion from Councilmember Arenas
Second.
and a second. Okay, let's vote on that.
Jimenez,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Locardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to item 3.4, which is an update on the San Jose Alfresco program. There is a memo. Is there a presentation on this item?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Blagis Lalich with the Office of Economic Development. There is not a formal presentation on this item, but I do have just a couple of kind of verbal remarks. And then obviously here to take your comments and questions. So the item that you have before you today is a number of items recommended by staff. One of those is to extend the emergency declarations, actually 4 out of the 5 emergency declarations that the council has passed as part of the Alfresco program until June 30th. And those are the declarations that have to do with private property operations, sidewalk operations, closed business operations in closed streets, parklets, and on city-owned parking lots. The 5th declaration, the one that has to do with operations in parks and plazas, we're recommending be extended through March 31st of 2021. The second item before you, the second amendment, has to do with the use of safety barriers on private property through the self-registration program that we have in place. At this time, staff is recommending that we amend that declaration to require that all businesses do install safety barriers to separate their diners from any vehicular traffic on the property. And then further, we propose creating a document that will outline a list of barriers that could be utilized to make those outdoor dining areas safer for customers, and also make some suggestions on how those barriers could actually be set up. So that's something that we're working on with our Department of Transportation. That document will be posted on the Alfresco webpage. It will be available in multiple languages. And then what we will do is we'll reach out to staff that is currently self-registered and make sure that they are aware of this new guideline and also of this document that could be helpful to them. The third amendment that we're making is one to the private property and sidewalks declaration, which would allow businesses operating on private property and sidewalks in the downtown entertainment zone, the downtown core, to remain open until midnight. Currently, the hours of operation under the Alfresco program are from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But to align with the conversation that we had at council last week, and also the administrative changes that we made with private property and street business areas, we are recommending that businesses in the downtown core be allowed to operate until midnight under Alfresco. And then lastly, the amendment that is before you is around winterization of the of operations outside as we're going into winter. So what we are recommending is that we allow the use of propane heat lamps as acceptable equipment on sidewalks for sidewalk operations. And then also with respect to tents larger than 400 square feet or canopies larger than 700 square feet, we are proposing to allow those, but have a separate permit through the fire department. And then any type of structure that would be erected would have a separate permit through our public works department. And in an effort to make this as easy as possible on our businesses, what staff intends to do is to cover the permit costs associated with that, kind of the review and inspection of these tents and structures as part of our Alfresco budget. And so we will be taking requests for those folks that are registered in the program currently on a first come, first served basis, as long as we have the funding. And we'll be prioritizing those that are operating in the public right of way, and then also moving on to businesses that are operating on private property and helping them to winterize. And then just lastly, one amendment that is not being contemplated today, but that city staff will be coming back to council on, is giving city staff the ability to revoke a business's Alfresco privilege if their operations pose a threat to public health and safety. And so that is something that we're talking about. We haven't had that situation come up yet, but in case that we have an operation that is posing a public safety threat or a public health threat, we would like the ability to be able to revoke their Alfresco privileges. And so that will be coming back to council at a later time. And with that, that summarizes the changes we're recommending. Here to take questions and comments from the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Blage, and thanks to you and the entire team for your hard work in making this program successful and really helping many of our small businesses stay alive during this very difficult time. Tessa Woodmansee.
Okay, great. Let me just turn this off. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason I don't have the clock. But basically what's very disturbing about this Alfresco program, I mean, I understand the concern that one person got killed by eating outside, that the idea of putting people to eat outside was a great economic boom for restaurants. And so we did that. And yet here we are with Vision Zero, just, falling on its feet because we don't have the protections for our walkers and our bikers, and tens of hundreds of people are dying on our streets, and yet we can't figure out how to put balustrades on every bike lane. And actually what we need is 3 feet, as the state law has said. We need 3 feet, so we should have stripes on every bike lane and have the balustrades on every bike lane as well. And yet here we are jumping over balustrades to get this done. And there's even a budget. And I even hear in our bike budget, we don't even have a bike budget, to really make bike lanes safe. We have to, go for grants so that we can have safe streets. And here we are just jumping over it to, for the businesses, to make businesses safe and that people will come out. And yet we're not doing anything enough to critically move as quickly as you are for Alfresco. And the only other thing is noise controls. That's the other thing you haven't worked on, is when you start bringing it out to midnight at noise, you know, you have never worked on your comprehensive noise ordinance, because I know even Mayor Liccardo has told me, oh, we can't do that because that would be not good for business. We got to think about quality of life as the most important thing in our community, and everything needs to be focused on our crises. And the crisis of climate crisis has to get us out on our bikes, and you need to work on that. And also in terms of stress, we need to reduce our stress by, you know, having a comprehensive noise ordinance. And these are things that need to be worked on continuously, but you haven't been doing. So that's, you know.
Thank you. Nathan Osh.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, staff. Nathan Olsch here from the San Jose Downtown Association, Director of Policy and Operations. First and foremost, greatly appreciate this item and the staff memo. Thank you, Blogate, for bringing this forward. We thank Council, City staff for your leadership on this, gracious support, the creative solutions, the ability to pivot quickly to help when and where needed for our business community, specifically downtown. That said, sales have increased dramatically for our business owners in the downtown core in the last couple of weeks, as some businesses predominantly are focused on dinner and after dinner sales. So as you know, winter is coming, and that makes this council item that much more important and pertinent. Businesses currently are scrambling to find ways to bolster their winterization endeavors by investing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in the infrastructure, tables, chairs, tents, heaters, as alluded to make it through the rest of the year. So moreover, to extend emergency order to June 30th, 2021 is also imperative for the success of Alfresco and ultimately sustaining business and mitigating vacancies downtown. That said, it is November 3rd. As they say, vote like your life depends on it. In this scenario, many lives literally depend on business to continue downtown and beyond. And this specific council item and staff recommendations puts forth before you today, we highly recommend that you pass this. So looking forward to continued partnership with the city as we move into winter, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Blair?
Hi, thank you. I felt Tessa brought up really good points, you know, how Vision Zero can relate to alfresco dining. And I don't know if in fact, the speaker, Blaché, if she spoke on, you know, practices around Vision Zero, around the alfresco dining. I may have heard that, I'm not quite sure, but Tessa made a really good connections, I think. And so, you know, for myself, you know, there was a Vision Zero meeting yesterday, and I was interested in, you know, as you're building Vision Zero, are you building open public policies to go with that? I think the two working hand in hand would just be a great match. And it would just bring a good community spirit and a better enjoyment of our process trying to work through this and remind ourselves what the most important things are of why we are a community. And it's good democratic practices, it's open public policy ideas, and that's how we dine, al fresco. And yeah, so I'm interested, yeah, so that's what we talk about when we dine out at al fresco. So I'm curious, you know, is there surveillance and technology? Is that happening more with the alfresco dining? If it is, you know, how can you make open public policy ideas an accessible, easy subject to talk about and make it friendly, enjoyable, and familiar? And those are important concepts, and they're the ideas of peace. It's how to leave the ideas of continual war and this shock doctrine, this latest shock doctrine we're in. So yeah, you know my feelings by now. Good luck on how you can work on these good ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, coming back to Councilmember Jimenez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few thoughts and then just a question before I make a motion. I just want to say that obviously for the lives lost as it relates to some of the accidents around you know, outdoor dining, obviously our hearts go out to those folks. I'm glad to see a lot of the things are in here. I think that are going to make some of these businesses sort of behave in a more safer fashion to prevent those from happening again. I also like the winterization. I think that's great that we're doing that and assisting with that. The other thing what's come to mind for me, and I'm glad I seen what I'm about to say in the staff memo, is really the recognition, at least in my point of view, that al fresco dining and dining outside is something that I think folks like to do. I know I enjoy it. I think taking advantage of the weather here in the valley is very important. And so I've often thought, what happens after the pandemic, right? What part of this remains in place to allow businesses to move forward? So I was glad to see that staff intends to cover, or not to cover, but to essentially to evaluate this after the fact to see what can remain in place. And so I think that's a good way to go. I very much appreciate it. I can also tell you that I've heard nothing but rave reviews from businesses in District 2. It's the Coronado Avenue is one of 3 streets that are closed in the city. Folks there really took to it. I know some of the businesses told me they were able to hire back several individuals simply by the fact of opening up, closing the roadway and opening up dining to the roadway, which I think was great. It adds a lot of vibrancy. I've been there at night and you see a lot of young folks, a lot of older folks just really enjoying the weather and such. So I think it was a good thing. The one question I do have, because I know there on Coronado, for example, it certainly is not an entertainment zone. And there is just the way that development's set up is that there is some housing or some apartments sort of near there, but not too close. And so what I'm wondering is so for example, the downtown entertainment zone being allowed to stay open till 12, which I think is a great thing. I'm totally supportive of that. But what I'm wondering is, are we able to do that as a city, or what would need to take place in order to do that and open up that sort of space till midnight and other parts, say Coronado? And I guess Blage, I'll give that to you. I'm not sure if there's anyone else, but.
Councilmember, thanks for the question. So just to clarify, you mean open up Coronado under the Alfresco operations until midnight, right? That's
Correct.
what you're asking about, right? So, so one of the things is if you look at the businesses that are out there on Coronado, there are primarily businesses that operate during the day, right? So like Panera and Starbucks. I think probably Applebee's is the one that is open the latest. And I don't know if Applebee's is open until midnight.
So I can tell you they're only open till 10, and we've asked them if they'd be happy or really take on the opportunity if they were allowed to stay open till midnight. They said yes. And they're actually the business that's probably furthest away from some of the more immediate housing there. And so I think they could benefit tremendously by doing that. So if they wanted to, and you know, we conducted some sort of evaluation to see if it wasn't going to cause any problems. Are we able to do that for them?
So in the way that the emergency declaration is written for street closure specifically is that there is the ability to do that through an administrative action. And so I think that what we could do is, if there seems to be some consensus, we could take a look at that and have further discussion about how that would look and how that would operate.
Okay, so there doesn't, so if I move this item, it doesn't necessarily need to be part of the item, part of the motion, right? I mean, that's something that can be done. You take my comments and thoughts into consideration and.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, they are interested, so if someone can reach out to them at some point, I think it'd be great. And I know that some of the park staff and you know, a number of folks have had their hands in this program, but I know that we very much appreciate working with some of the folks that are out there getting some of this done, talking to the businesses, and they've done an awesome job, and I'm sure they've done the same thing across the city. So thank you so much for the work. I'll move the memorandum by staff.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion and second from Councilmember Esparza. Councilmember Foley.
Great, thank you. And thank you for the report and the updated list of recommendations. And most of them I am in support of. I support the motion that was just made, but I have some questions. There's no doubt that the Alfresco program is helping many of our small businesses to survive. And that surviving keeps some, more people employed and earning paychecks, and that's a good thing. But there are unintended consequences of the Alfresco programs, particularly in the neighborhoods that do not have a business district like Willow Glen or Coronado or other areas throughout the city. And recently we've been hearing complaints from neighbors who are next door or nearby restaurants who are indoor restaurants, but now have outdoor capabilities. And while sometimes they're registered in the Alfresco program, sometimes they've just put up tables and aren't registered, and they're creating tremendous noise and disturbance in the community. So my concern, I'm glad this doesn't increase the hours of operation across the city. I think that would be a huge mistake without engaging our community first and asking their opinion on it. But I am concerned about businesses who are increasing the noise, increasing both by having amplification of music, having live music. There's a lot of ways that we're hearing noise is increasing, and just by having volumes of people there out late drinking. What do we do to monitor that, and how do we take care of our neighbors? Because while this is helping our small businesses to perhaps survive, it is disturbing the quiet enjoyment of the neighborhoods. And frankly, since people are sheltering in place, their quiet enjoyment of their neighborhood, their home, is even more important to them. So, Blage, what are we doing? How can we help?
So thank you, council member, for that question. That is a conversation that we have been having on a pretty regular basis because we are limited at this moment in kind of the resources that we've been able to allocate to any kind of proactive enforcement. And so what we are doing currently is, luckily, we do have the PRNS placemaking team that is able to reach out to businesses and remind them of what the parameters of the program are, which is not before 7 a.m. and not after 10 p.m., and that no amplified music or entertainment is allowed per the regulations. However, as you mentioned, we have a number of businesses that are not registered that are doing alfresco operations throughout the city. And we have, what we have tried to do is address those reactively as best we can. And in some cases, people cooperate with us. That's also part of the conversation that we're having, as I mentioned in my last comment, about coming back to council to amend the emergency declarations to provide the administration with some additional enforcement ability to revoke somebody's alfresco privilege. And my understanding from the attorney's office is that would be both for registered and unregistered businesses, kind of conducting operations outdoors without having registered. So I do think that if we are going to take a more proactive approach and are going to want to be more responsive, that we are going to need additional resources and additional kind of staff to be taking on that responsibility, because currently we're not set up that way.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. It's obviously on your radar. It's on our radar because we're starting to hear from community members, and as it gets colder and darker, and now that we're allowing winterization capabilities, that means these restaurants aren't going to decrease their hours of operation where they might have if they weren't allowed to have heaters and other things to make it more comfortable to people who are outside. So I really appreciate that. I also want to actually thank code enforcement. Yesterday we had a neighbor report about over the weekend a restaurant right next door to them that was making really loud and not police were called. It was not a good situation, but the resident reached out to us. We reached out to code enforcement, and code enforcement reached out to the business owners right away within less than 24 hours. And that is really tremendous work on the part of our staff to be so responsive. But it would be better to be proactive. That it would be better than to be reactive. But if we can be reactive quickly, that's good too. The other question I wanted to ask about is accessibility. I'm starting to hear from residents about pathways being blocked where they need access to get into the business and are not because of mobility issues? What are we doing to provide instruction or guidelines as it relates to accessibility
So
and ADA requirements?
Sure. And so, Councilmember, in the emergency order and in the information that's posted on the website, we do state that businesses need to follow the ADA accessible requirements. We do talk about the fact that, like, if they have a parklet where they have seating in their parklets, they need to ensure that there is one table in the outdoors, at least one table per ADA requirements where their ADA accessibility exists. In the street closures that we have, we've installed some ramps in the downtown core on San Pedro and Post Street in order to maintain accessibility, ramps and signage. It's difficult. We're in constant communication with the businesses that have their outdoor operations on the street, reminding them about the certain heights of the tables that are ADA accessible, certain pathways that they need to leave open. But quite honestly, you know, some businesses are better than others, and we're not able to monitor that, you know, 24/7. So we are trying to, that's another area that, you know, we got this all kind of up to speed very quickly. It's another area where we've realized kind of more and more that we need to put more information out there for folks to be able to make sure that those outdoor operation locations are accessible to all.
Wonderful. I appreciate that. Thank you for your report. I look forward to more information in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Perales?
Yeah, thank you. And appreciate the update as well, Claudia, and the work that staff has been doing. I think, you know, we unveiled this rather quickly. And additionally, we've had to pivot quickly as well to try to address some of the concerns. But I think overall, we know that this is a big benefit for not only our businesses, but our community as a whole. And certainly in the downtown core, it has really helped some of these struggling businesses and districts be able to get people back to work and do so safely. And the one question that I had is in regards to the timing. Now, you reiterated something I think was important, that there is not supposed to be, now that doesn't mean maybe it's not happening in some places, but they're not supposed to be amplified music or live entertainment. And without those two, you essentially have people congregating and speaking. And if you have a lot of people outside, obviously, then you know, normal speaking voices can get a little loud. But for the downtown core, that's no different than pre-pandemic. You know, even with all the potential bars, restaurants, and nightclubs operating, there was always a lot of people outside. And not necessarily because there was outside seating, but there were just people out and about. And certainly you can hear the commotion, the chatter throughout the night, and readily until the 2 o'clock in the morning, even slightly beyond, as people were headed home. And so long as we keep the limitation on no amplified music and live performance outside, I'm curious as to why, at least, again, advocating for the downtown core, I'm curious as to why we wouldn't just allow operations to match up with the CUP, the conditional use permits of particular businesses, rather than put in the midnight timeframe, which would, again, it is better, obviously, right, than the 10 o'clock. But I'm just curious, and I'm thinking, especially if we're going to be now having this go a little bit longer, and in my hopes, I'll echo Councilmember Jimenez's. I'm glad that District 2 is enjoying it. I'm hoping that's the case around the city. I would hope and advocate that we continue this indefinitely. But can you speak to that, and is that a possibility?
So, Councilmember, the reason, one of the reasons why we thought that midnight made a lot of sense is because as we moved into the orange tier, the county allows indoor dining, even though limited at 25%, they allow that until midnight, right? And so their order says that folks have to presumably be out and on their way by 12:30. And so we thought that that matched up nicely with the requirements for indoor dining. Quite honestly, we are also still in a pandemic, and there still is concern about large gatherings of people in places. And so it seemed like going to midnight, in addition to the fact that, you know, businesses downtown are normally operating to midnight by right. You have to get a CUP to operate, you know, past midnight. It seemed to make sense. The other part of it too is, to your point about operating until your CUP hours, those CUPs are, as you well know, typically for operations indoors. And so it's very different when you're operating indoors and inside of 4 walls and you're going until 2 o'clock in the morning. But when you get outside, if you're going kind of full bore, it is very different. And so those were kind of some of the reasons why we felt that midnight made sense. But certainly, you know, there's an ability to have a conversation if that's the direction that the council would like to go.
Okay, well, it sounds like there's no urgency at the moment, given that the county guidelines are restricting at midnight. I guess for me, it would be more kind of avoiding just continually coming back to edit it. But I think in this case, it's fine, because we would have to shift to another tier. But I do think it's worth thought and discussion, especially again, if we are going to be advocating that this is something that's more long-term and it's not just for the pandemic. I think, you know, we're learning along the way. And so this is just another, I think, discussion topic to also learn from and see how we might want to implement it. But I'm fine with where we're currently at, and can wait until hopefully we continue to move in the right direction of this pandemic and have a discussion in the future about a more permanent Alfresco program in the city. Thanks, Plug.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Councilmember Arandas?
Thank you, Mayor. So I know that a lot of these programs, it's a first come, first serve. And I'm worried about some of the smaller businesses that are finally maybe getting back into the swing of things, and that they're able to actually hire people back, because now they can have some of that seating inside, and it makes sense for them now, right? It was actually very sad to see some of our small businesses go away in our downtown core, in my own district, and just across our city. And so with that in mind, I was wondering, what are some of the strategies that you'll maybe take up to notify some of these smaller businesses so that they can register into the program, so that they can also benefit of going into winter and having some of that capacity built into their business model?
Yeah, thanks, Councilmember. I think you're right on in kind of asking that question. I mean, I think first and foremost, probably one of the greatest communication tools that we have is all of our council members. And so you have a direct line to many of, you know, the businesses, if not all of the businesses in your district, and, you know, have a great voice in kind of the newsletters that are put out. And so we would ask you, we can certainly come up with the copy, but ask you to, you know, with this new kind of winterization and the ability to help out with public works review and permit costs, you know, ask you also to get the word out about that to the businesses in your districts. In addition to that, we do have the services of the PRNS placemaking team, who has been really integral. And, you know, they did outreach into over 600 businesses in very targeted areas. Most of those areas, you know, very deeply affected by COVID and the effects of COVID. And so also having them as a team to be able to circle back with some businesses that might now be interested in activating where they hadn't been before. And then certainly we have our regular communications tools, the website. We have that translated into 5 languages, and we have our relationships with the different business organizations and getting the word out through them. And certainly open to any other ideas that you have for getting the word out. But we're hoping to utilize and maximize those channels to their fullest extent.
Right. Well, of course, we will always be helpful, and we've reached out to a lot of our small businesses and those, folks who are still up and running. We've seen a lot of great success actually in having some of those barriers in very strategic places in our district. And so that has actually turned out really well. I myself have gone out to some of these businesses and, enjoyed the outdoor weather when I can with my kids or during lunch hour. Because I think that's just absolutely important to keep some of the character of our districts alive through the restaurants and through just some of the small mom and pop shops that we have all around. I just don't know that I certainly don't have the capacity to continue to make calls to all of our businesses once there's changes that are happening. But if there was a way that we can coordinate so that way, we can make it a lot easier. I know that we've reached out to a lot of our folks, especially during the summer, to get them to, so they can use our social media to do some coupon days or special days, especially, through Father's Day and things of that sort. Of course, Mother's Day. Let's not forget that. But I don't have an ongoing real capacity to continue to do this, and I want to, because I want to make sure that we support. Of course, our small businesses are definitely. We all know that the majority of them are immigrant-owned businesses that keep their own families and other families in our respective communities employed. And so that's important to me. And so that's why we make a point to really reach out. But I don't know that I have the capacity to continue to do it. So it would be really wonderful to have some level of partnership, maybe with Pierre and, as he was saying, with the placemaking team, so that we can strategically so we can tell you, look, these are these in this area, we're having a really difficult time connecting with these guys, because this might be their business, and they may not be receiving their mail because it's just not open yet, or for whatever reason. But I just think a better communication maybe and coordination with your team, so that we can have the most, just really leverage resources here. And so that would be great. I know you're writing this down. I really
am. So certainly we can follow up.
I appreciate that. And I want to be protective of our businesses, just like many of my colleagues are. And knowing that next year we're going to begin, hopefully, and I'm going to knock on wood, that we're going to break ground on the light rail extension to Eastridge, and we know that kind of transportation infrastructure creates a lot of displacement for small businesses. And so, I think working with them ahead of time to make sure that they are not, displaced once again, or, they survived the pandemic, but then here comes the infrastructure transportation construction that's going to happen with light rail. And so they're going to have to go through yet another ordeal to stay alive in their businesses, especially around the Tully area. So, I'm just trying to think ahead of a lot of our small businesses that are just, holding on by a thread here. So I appreciate that. The other item that we talked about, when I know it's not in this particular memo, but we talked about it some time ago, Blage, and it was using our parks and our community centers as yet another area where we can invite a business to hold, maybe to sell, I don't know, coffee in the morning, especially now that our community centers and our libraries are hosting our Walk and Learn programs and our distance learning. That there's going to be a constant flow of families and folks who are going to be visiting that area, that I wonder, and in order to maybe keep some of this area clear of maybe some tents that are going up around the community centers or libraries, and knowing that that we really don't want to disrupt that, but if there was a more constant flow of community and residents, and maybe a vendor there that would dissuade some folks from setting up shop there and staying there overnight and what have you, and maybe choosing another different location. And so I wonder if you've made any strides in that particular area in terms of using our parks or city facilities.
So yes, council member, we do have, as I mentioned, the Parks and Plazas Declaration, which enabled the ability for a business to come in and apply for the use of a park for an extended period of time to do their business operations. And so we do have 7 permits that's managed through the Special Parks use team. I have 6, I believe it's 6 different parks that are activated, and those are mostly kind of yoga and fitness type of business operations, as you would expect. That hasn't been kind of as brisk of an ask as we maybe initially thought, but we are proposing to extend the life of that declaration until March 31st. And our thinking there is that by the spring, there might be some additional kind of usage that event producers are looking, or larger kind of community gatherings might be allowed at that point. And so we might have different uses for the parks at that time. But certainly if we continue to be in this situation where we think businesses are going to want to utilize the parks, we can always come back to extend that further past March.
Yeah, offline, I'd love to connect about this. I think there's a real potential for some of our parks that have a lot of traffic, especially being parallel to a very high traffic street like Tully or like King or Akala, where they get just a natural flow of traffic. I just I don't know that any of those 7 parks are in my district. I think it's safe to say they're not in my district. And so I'd love to see what we could do, and we can talk about this offline. But I think that's another potential that, offering some small businesses an opportunity to get on board with us at our facilities. I think it just doesn't hurt to have that there. So I appreciate that. And I think that is, that's the extent of my questions and suggestions and comments, Rajay. But I just wanted to share a little bit of a success story. We have a property management, the Imwali's property management right off of San Felipe and Yerba Buena, and they've been just really wonderful. We have barriers there. Folks are just coming into that plaza and eating and enjoying themselves. As far as I can tell, when I pick up my pharmacy, go to the pharmacy and pick up some stuff there. And there's folks who there's a couple who just opened up an Indian restaurant where Pasta Pomodoro had failed, where this ribs place had failed. There was so many failures there. And it's amazing to see that this restaurant has managed to open up, and not only just open up, but it seems like they're faring very well. Because I can see the people outside who are eating. Obviously, they were just all outside about a week or so ago. And they're just doing really well. And so it played to their success to have these outdoor seating areas. And so I don't know how well they would have done if they didn't have that kind of exposure to people who are walking around, and it calls to folks who might have just gone in, like myself, gone into the pharmacy to grab something, but now we have an opportunity to actually sit down outside and feel really good about it. And just the ambiance that was set up in a parking lot was just absolutely fabulous. I just wanted to share that with you, that during the pandemic, these folks opened up a restaurant and are doing, really well. As far as I'm concerned, now I don't know how that is under regular circumstances and what that would entail, but from what I see, they are sharing or they're benefiting from a lot of the folks who are out and about my district, and it's really great to see. that this is working for us. And so thank you so much for the program. Thank you for the investment that you've made in all of our communities and for extending some of these measures that keep our customers and our residents safe, as well as our small businesses and our big businesses just continue to thrive. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for sharing that story. It's always really nice to hear.
Thank you. And thank you again, Blage, for all your work and that of the whole team. Speaking of the team, my understanding is that PRNS staff is going to continue to be on through March. Is that right?
Yes, PRNS staff will continue to support Alfresco operations at least through March at this point. And I think it's kind of an evolving conversation. Things change around here very quickly, as you all know. So
I understand you have to be really nimble given these budgetary challenges that we're all facing. Speaking of which, I know the report makes explicit mention to the fact that we've kind of run through all the dough on permit fees. And so new businesses or businesses that want to open outdoors have to be paying their own full freight. I understand why they would need to do so for example, if we're moving K-rail or barriers or something like that for their benefit. But it also included, for example, I think it was an inspection fees or approval fees of some kind. And I'm wondering to what extent, can you give me a sense of what kind of burdens those are so we understand, if this is something we should be looking at in the February revise or mid-year about whether we really even, do we even want to continue to have those inspections? Are there things that we can do simply through a online application similar to what you've already got up and running? It'd just be helpful to understand the extent of those barriers.
Yeah, so just to clarify, Mayor, the review kind of inspection and permits have to do with structures and tents primarily. So making sure, obviously, we want to make sure that any kind of structure that is put up in the public right-of-way is safe for people to walk under and sit under and such. And anything, for instance, that is any structure or tent that's erected in a parklet, kind of same applies, because that's on-street parking space, public right-of-way. And so currently the Alfresco program allows folks to put up tents of 400 square feet and or a canopy of 700 square feet without any sort of review, permit, or inspection. It's just that when it gets larger than that, there are more issues that have to be taken into account, and that's what triggers the fire department's fire permit. And then on the public right-of-way, any sort of structure or tent or canopy larger than those two sizes would trigger a public works review and inspection to ensure the safety. So what we're doing is saying one of the ways that the city can be most helpful and kind of most efficiently is to waive those permit costs. But obviously there's still staff time involved, and we want to make sure we do it to ensure safety. And so that's where we're utilizing the Alfresco budget, some of the Alfresco budget to do that.
And we won't be able to do that as of today anymore, or is that after?
No, we'll continue to do that. My intention is to continue to do that until we need to stop using the money, which is December 30th. And so the hope is, so we're going to reach out to everybody and say, hey, we have this opportunity between now and the end of December. So come on in.
This is the opportunity now. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Helpful. Thank you. And I know people are probably less inclined to suddenly want to rush outdoors as it gets colder, but yeah, I appreciate it's something maybe all of us, our council offices and our own office, we may want to get out there and prod folks to take advantage of this while they can before December. And then finally, the cost, and I appreciate Councilmember Jimenez's acknowledgement of the tragedies, particularly in Maya's district, Councilmember Esparza's district, obviously horrible loss of life. But we also, I think, recognize that I actually saw a video of what happened from, I think, KPIX, and literally a driver, I guess, due to some kind of medical infirmity, drove across 4 lanes of traffic over um, 2 park strips over a median. I'm just not sure there was a lot we could have done to prevent that. And so as we think about safety modifications, you know, I know K-Rail is very expensive and we've got a limited budget ourselves for this. I think we're doing maybe a half dozen more of those projects. Are there sort of resources that businesses can go to, for example, for planter boxes where they can, you know, a local provider is providing them relatively low cost, you know, those kinds of things. Are there those kinds of resources, or are we kind of saying, hey, here's what you got to do, you know, go figure it out?
What we're saying is kind of here's a sheet of different kinds of barriers that could provide safety, and we're trying to say that this is the approximate cost and this is kind of how you would set them up. I think that we could include, I think we also walk a fine line, like recommending, you know, certain businesses over others. And so we need to kind of make sure that we're doing what we should be doing, what we need to be doing, but we certainly could include a couple of different locations where they might find this, or a couple of online sites where they might find similar equipment.
Like, I appreciate the challenge you have. Obviously, government can't get involved in saying, hey, go patronize these guys. But I'm just wondering if maybe the Downtown Association of the Ethnic Chambers or other partners may be a really good resource if they've figured it out. Hey, here are the 3 places you can go get a tent that's affordable. You know, that kind of thing. Do you have partners who kind of can clearly steer folks?
Certainly we do have those partners, and we can absolutely have those conversations and see, you know, what information they still need from us that might help facilitate those conversations.
Cool. Okay. Thanks a lot, Blage, for all the progress. Any other comments from council? All right. This is just the acceptance of a report. Oh no, we actually have to approve items, don't we? Do we have a motion? Forgive me.
Yes.
Yep. We do. All right, let's vote.
Jimenez,
Aye.
Perales,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Item 3.5 is the Citywide Capital Improvement Program Annual Report. There's a presentation. Welcome, Matt and team. Hi, Matt, you're still muted. Hey, Matt, I think you're still on mute.
There we go. And I think everyone can see my screen, correct?
Yep.
Thank you, Matt Kaner, Director of Public Works. I practiced that right before this and I still messed it up. So I appreciate your time today, Mayor and City Council. We are here today to present the Annual Capital Improvement Program report to you. This is a report that encompasses the entire capital improvement program from an overarching standpoint. There are other more specific reports that you, the Mayor and Council and Council committees see throughout the year, such as the Regional Wastewater Facility Report, the Measure T report, et cetera. And as you all know, but I like to reiterate, the capital improvement program is, even though Public Works staff is delivering the presentation today, is a complete partnership between many, many departments in the city: ESD, DOT, PRNS, airport, budget, finance, and down the whole list of everybody, and the city attorney's office, of course. Our goal today is to present the statistics and some outcomes in the overall capital improvement program and answer any questions you may have. Presenting with me today is Division Manager David French, who I'll turn it over to in a minute. And also here to answer any questions are members of our Public Works team, as well as some of our partner departments. In addition to the outcomes, the actual projects that we see and our community uses, we also focus on the journey of building our capital improvement program. And that's on that journey of building our city together with our community, working on programs and initiatives and trainings that engage our local workers and our local businesses in our projects to keep that money in our economy and to provide those extra opportunities for the folks in our city to increase their opportunities in life through our capital improvement program delivery. As an example, we just completed last week our most recent Public Works Academy, which is an opportunity for local contractors and small contractors and others to go through a series of sessions where they learn about how to deliver our capital projects. Everything from learn about the nuances of submittals and documentations and bids to the prevailing wage and other things that they don't necessarily always see on private projects that they're working on. And we're really looking forward to continuing to build on more initiatives over time that help our local workers and local businesses participate in our program. And with that, I'll turn it over to David French for the rest of the presentation.
All right, thanks, Matt. So good afternoon, Mayor, council members, David French, Division Manager of Public Works. Wanted to give you a verbal highlight of the report and also share some successes of the program during the fiscal year. But at first, I did want to start off by really giving recognition to the staff who manage and oversee capital projects. Matt identified a lot of different groups of folks who are involved in the capital program, and we all know how difficult the end of the fiscal year was due to the pandemic. And I just wanted to give recognition to all of the quality staff that we have, as well as all the great contractors we work with. And as the capital program continued to move forward in a safe and efficient manner, they deserve all the recognition for all the successes we've had. So I just wanted to highlight that. So in fiscal year 1920, we actively worked on 272 projects, which had a value of about $1.2 billion. Those projects were in different phases of the project delivery and involved work, as Matt mentioned, for multiple divisions and departments, including Environmental Service Department, Department of Transportation, Airport, and Park, Recreation, Neighborhood Services. Of those 272 projects, 55 of them were completed. And the charts that you have here in the presentation are illustrating those numbers and separated by city service areas for a little bit of clarity on what types of projects those were. Historically, we're only reported on major public works projects. And by definition, those are the projects that are over $600,000 estimates. But starting with this project starting with this report and all the reports moving forward, we will also report on the minor projects that Public Works did, which are the projects that are under that $600,000 value. And of the 272 projects that you're seeing here, 73 of those were minor construction projects. Next slide, Matt. So, we want to talk a little bit about the bidding environment. So during the fiscal year, we received, we issued 70 bids, and of those 70 bids, we saw an average variance from the engineer estimate, 9% below estimate. The goal of the program is to get it close to 0% as possible. And the industry average is about plus or minus 5%. And so we dug in a little bit on that -9 or the 9% below the estimate and found a few key drivers as to why that occurred. The first reasoning being is our pavement program. The pavement program was well below the engineer estimate, and that was really driven by the impacts of the crude oil prices due to COVID. Historically, the program was seeing a consistent rise in wages and crude oil prices, and therefore the estimates for the fiscal year followed that trend. However, in February, the crude oil prices dropped drastically, which caused the cost of the projects to decrease, which caused that large variance. And during that time, from February to the end of the year, we saw an average of 22% below engineer estimate on those bids. Another key driver for that variance was the bids in our sanitary sewer program. The main driver of that variance was a good reason, which was increased competition. We were receiving more bids for those type of projects. But then also those type of projects come with some line items in the schedule of quantities, which are very large. And so when you see even a small increment change of the price of those very large quantities, that can really skew the engine, or skew, which is a reason why we were seeing a large variance in those bid types. But in summary, when we remove the pavement and sanitary programs from the data, the remainder of the projects is 1.5% below the engineer estimate. And so we'll continue to evaluate the variance and make adjustments to our estimates to be within that industry standard. So I'd like to start to highlight a few projects here, one from each city service area. And the first project is one that we're very proud to be able to deliver, which is the emergency interim housing at the Monterey Burnell site. This project consisted of construction of 20 modular buildings that will house up to 78 San Jose homeless residents. And this is the first of 3 interim housing projects that the city undertook this year. And we're excited about completing this one and the other 2 as well. And a special thank you to everyone who took part of delivering this project within a very short period of time. I've never been a part of a project that we've delivered so quickly. And that's due to, again, all the great staff that was on this project and the other was. The next project, thank you, Matt. The next project is the Arcadia softball facility. So this is the first ballpark facility funded by the voter approved Measure P bond program. It's 14.5 acres and has 4 ball fields that have various amenities. And it was scheduled for opening March of this year. However, obviously that was postponed and that will be scheduled for a future date. Next slide, Matt. The next project is the Alviso pump station project. So this project completed construction in September of 2019, and it will provide long-term flood protection for the northernmost community of San Jose. This project also included a 1,000 square foot public art tile that showcased the history of Alviso. And we actually highlighted that in the last year's CIP report as well. The next project is one of the first FEMA projects that we have completed. This is the Sierra Road landslide repair project, which repaired damaged pavement, stabilized some downslopes, implemented erosion control, installed concrete barriers and guardrail systems, and repaired the existing damaged storm drainage. And the repairs restored the locations to their pre-disaster conditions, while also enabling a safe passage for the public and also emergency response vehicles. 2 more projects here. The next project we'd like to highlight is the new Fire Station 37. So this is the first fire station project scheduled to be built using the Measure T bond funding program. And also we use the remainder of the 2002 Measure O bond. This project consists of a new single company, 2-story building, approximately 8,100 square feet. And the facility will be located at 2195 Lincoln Avenue, which is adjacent to the Willow Glen Community Center. And the project is scheduled to be completed in January 2022. And then finally, to highlight is the PAC Uninterrupted Power Supply Project, or a UPS project. This is not as glamorous as a new fire station, but is extremely important to supply uninterrupted power in times of a power outage to the police department's 911 call center and other critical operations. This project replaced an outdated system that was currently in place, and the new system provides greater reliability and capacity. So in summary, again, we're very proud of the projects we delivered and are still delivering. And there are many more projects other than these ones mentioned, which are underway to improve city operations for our community. But with that, this concludes our presentation, and we'll open it up for questions.
Great. Thanks, David. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for your team's incredible work. I appreciate you've actually picked some great examples. I'll be happy to brag some more, but I can't imagine projects that are more impactful in the lives of our residents than, for example, the homeless project, homeless housing community built on Burnell in 4 months rather than 4 years, which is what it typically takes to build affordable housing project in the Bay Area. Station 37, which is going to provide just a huge enhancement, emergency medical response and fire response. The pump station up in Alviso, I continue to hear from residents how grateful they are to have protection from flood. The baseball fields, I know we hope to be able to celebrate the opening. I know Councilmember Arenas is chomping at the bit to get that up and running just as soon as we're able to. So I just think it's, you demonstrated clearly the value of what this team is bringing to the city. It's really tremendous. So thank you. Okay, let's go to our members of the public. Tessa Whitman-C.
Thank you. Great. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on some of the expenditures of our city as we've have so many problems with our public works in regards to like getting a left-hand turn signal where people have been injured in our neighborhood, and there's even a left-hand turn signal that needs to be addressed on Lenzen Avenue at Stockton, both of them at Stockton and Taylor, and Stockton and Lenzen, and where somebody got killed in the crosswalk, and we can't get a left-hand turn signal. And so the issues that I'm seeing when I hear you talking about that you're giving money to our corporations so that there are restaurants so that they can build outside heating issues, that money is being spent by our city to support businesses. There should be no, what do we call it? Welfare for businesses. There should be no welfare for businesses. And that's the basis of our capitalism, is that if you can make it, you can make it. And there should be no public monies. And we're not only giving them monies, the business, to go forward, but we're actually giving them our public space. We're giving them our sidewalks, our parks. And this is where, and also even about the restaurants, who's most affected at the restaurants is that waiter and those cooks that are exposed, especially the waiters that are exposed to the public. And so we're pushing this as like the panacea to our life, and that restaurants are the foundation of our culture, and we have to rethink and redream a community that's based on strong, resilient neighborhoods where we have rugged, that we're able to survive individually, and that we stay home. That has to be the message: to stay home, eat at home, prepare our own food, grow our own food. This has got to be how we build resiliency and sustainability.
Thank you. Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you for this item. I actually disagree with Tessa on a few points a few of her last points. I was wanting to speak about today the need. I was going to make the point that we're going to have to be really considering in the next year. There's going to be serious foreclosure issues for both homeowners and small businesses, and there's going to be issues of rent issues and tenant issues, apartment owner issues still, in the next year. And on top of that, we have to come to terms that we're possibly going to have an increase in COVID over the winter time, with an increase in deaths as well. Hopefully that number, we're at 70 now, hopefully it can be limited to 100 to 120 a month. And but I think that's what we're looking at through January. And, so these capital improvement ideas are interesting. We need help from the state level. We need help in able to create services programs and funding patterns and streams that can allow businesses to stay open and allow, businesses, their space. And I understand the idea, we have to be really safe at this time. Basically, we're going through a very, fragile time, and we have to be very safe. And so I understand what Tessa's saying, but I also feel that with that, there has to be money available, and we have to be open to understand how that money can be financing our local communities from the state level and in the next year. And that's vitally important to our survivalness. Measure T, please consider surveillance and technology that will be part of Measure T, and what can be good public oversight Measure T can offer that process. Thank you.
Thank you. JT?
Good afternoon. To comment on the last caller, no, there won't be foreclosures. Over 60% of the homes in South Bay are bought with cash. They're literally 25-year-olds paying $2 million cash for their second home. With regards to the capital funds, what we're not doing today is ensuring equity and that the money is spread fairly to lower income neighborhoods as well. There's an easy fix to this. All you have to do is draw a circle around the project, identify every neighborhood association within the project, come up with ideas for what to build, and maybe give the community some input, or maybe give the community the official vote. What I definitely think is elected representatives have no place deciding where these funds go. It's basically like handing your front door key to a robber. And the last point, 4 years to build the homes for the unhoused residents is ridiculous. You can spend 1/10 of the money and house 10 times the people if you do transitional housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Phone number ending 5140.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, start getting these businesses back in order so you can have some money. You guys are going to run out of money. And as for fire departments, San Jose Fire Department, in my district, Pam Foley's district, District 9, buildings always burn down. So, you know, the response time since I was a child has always been terrible. I've seen buildings burn to the ground in my neighborhood. I don't know what the new fire department's going to do for me in my neighborhood, E9, which is always neglected on everything. Got a lot of roads to fix and patch up in District 9. And I don't know, you know, more police. I don't know. I mean, I heard about how you're going to have more traffic cops. Come on, man. What a bunch of losers you people are to vote for more money for that. We don't need more traffic cops. We need more cops from midnight to 6 when the real crime happens. But it sounds like you guys are going to have plenty of cops to make sure people aren't laughing or turning up the music too loud at a cafe or bar that has to open up in their frickin' parking lot. But anyway, I just want to tell everyone who hasn't voted yet, vote for Trump in 2020. Piss off the City Council of San Jose and Sam Liccardo. Good night.
Thank you. Returning to our council, Vice Mayor Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Matt and his team for including the section Building Our City Together with Our Community. I remember our conversations over 5 years ago, Matt, and the desire to see more small and local businesses get a piece of the pie in terms of some of the dollars that the city spends. And I see the progress that we've made, and I want to compliment again you and the team. Obviously, we're not where we want to be, but I think that we've made some significant progress, particularly around the Public Works Construction Academy and the minor contract pre-qualification program. I think those are two key milestones in terms of what we were able to accomplish, and two pillars of the program to get more business and more contracts to small and local firms. So again, I want to thank you and commend the hard work that you and your staff have done. And I want to make a motion to accept your report.
Second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Other questions? I just had a couple. One relates to the rollout of the PG&E lighting replacement. I understand that's stalled a bit. Could you tell us a little bit more about why the light replacement project is slowed down and what our options might be?
Sure, thank you. And it's moving forward. However, you're correct, it is delayed from what we had originally hoped prior to COVID, due to a little longer to enter into the contracts with PG&E than we had thought. But those contracts have been finalized and we are moving forward. And John Cannon's going to actually provide a little bit more detail on that schedule for us.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And thanks, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I'm John Cannon, Deputy Director of Public Works. It was the terms of the agreement, the devil's in the details, but you know, we're dealing with two large organizations. It took a little longer to go back and forth than we had expected. The agreements did get executed. PG&E started their field work in August, and they're going around in zones of the remaining city lights that have not been converted, and they're doing an inventory of those lights in, you know, one zone at a time. They've completed their first zone. They're almost done with the second zone. And then what they do is they turn that inventory over to our DOT staff, who go through and validate what PG&E found and essentially approve which lights to replace under this program. And that should happen for zone 1 anyways, by the end of this month or early December. About 2 months then to fabricate and deliver the lights, and the installation should start in the January, February timeframe. And it'll work sequentially, zones 1 through 6. The entire program should be completed by the end of next year.
Can I ask why they need to do an inventory of the lights? I mean, we've done a lot of work trying to understand. I mean, I'm just thinking over the last 5 or 6 years, we spent a lot of time looking at our light poles. What are they doing that we haven't done already?
So they're actually counting which lights, which types of fixtures. They're going to have several different light fixture sizes and wattages, and they're trying to do like for like replacements as much as they can in terms of lumen output and how the lights illuminate the street. And they're also confirming which lights are functioning, which ones have the proper wiring. And so that's so that they can order and have delivered the proper number of the right sized lights. That's basically it. They're actually going to feed that information into our own inventory mapping system, and we'll have a much better sort of GIS layer of our existing lighting network after PG&E is done with this work.
Okay, thanks, John. Appreciated the analysis on the pricing. We all hope we're in for an opportunity to take advantage of lower costs. And I know there was a lot of discussion on the crude oil and other factors, but it seems to me demand is probably the biggest one. And Mercury News either today or yesterday in the business section noted there was although construction was up, single family housing, it's considerably down on public works projects. Spending nationally is down about 5%. So it seems like this could be actually a great opportunity for us. Are there any projects we might consider accelerating, knowing that we've got a bit of a trough that we're going into that we might be able to get a really favorable bid climate on? Even if that means construction doesn't start right away, at least we would secure the contractor so we could take advantage of those savings.
Thank you for that question, Mayor Ricardo, and I'll see if John or wants to add, John or any DOT staff wants to add on to my response. We definitely think about that a lot. If there is a favorable bid window coming, how can we get as many projects out there on the street as possible? And so I can't think of any particular project off the top of my head, but we are continuing to look for those opportunities. We're definitely not planning on slowing anything down right now. And if there's opportunities to speed anything up, we will. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we would be able to speed up right now.
Yeah, Mayor Ricardo, this is John Russo, Director of Transportation. Just jumping off of what Matt and the team has been reporting on. With those good bids that we've received through this year's pavement program, we're able to actually add a project. We're going through right now, we're about ready to bid a project on Monterey Road. It probably won't be able to be delivered till next summer, but we're getting a bid out soon to actually do that. And that's all a result of the good bids that we received. So taking advantage of that, we're going to add a fairly significant way pavement project on Monterey in the southern part of the city. So some good news there.
Great. Thanks, John. All right, well, thanks, everybody. Any other comments or questions? Councilmember Arenas.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, I blocked my camera and looked like I didn't have a head there for a second. So I just wanted to say thank you to Matt Kano, because I know that I had brought up an issue about making sure that and this is something that I know that our vice mayor has championed for small businesses, isn't to make sure that small businesses are awarded some of those contracts that we have for our pavement maintenance and resurfacing and all of that. And so I know that you've made an additional effort. You pivoted between, I think, John Risto and Matt Kano, you all pivoted to make sure that some of our smaller contractors were able to bid on some of these projects that are smaller based, right? And so there's a little bit for everybody. And I know that there was some I think out of 17 minor construction contracts, there was 8 that were awarded to local businesses. And so I just want to say thank you for doing that, for really listening to some of the concerns that we have, responding to some of those concerns, not only responding, but showing it in these numbers and having our small business contractors also benefit from the work that we're going to do to make our city look wonderful for the next 9 to 8 years, right? So I really appreciate that pivot. I appreciate that you continue to reach out to our small businesses and those folks who haven't gone through this contracting process, and that you're getting them ready to hopefully in the years to come to continue to bid not only on small contracts, but maybe even take it up a notch and get a bigger contract. And so that's the ultimate success, I think, is when some of these folks actually move up from smaller contracts into bigger contracts, and that they're local, and that these are folks that come out of some of the academies and some of the classes that you all have put together. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for doing that. This is the time that you're reporting all of that really great work, and all of that great little work sometimes gets lost in a very short presentation. So I just wanted to say thank you for all the work that goes into that. I think somebody already moved this, Mayor.
You know, I think
No?
the Vice Mayor did. Is that right?
Oh, I apologize. Okay,
Vice Mayor,
wonderful.
make a motion?
Yes, they did.
Yes, okay.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you. Let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Crosco,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
MS,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Licardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is item 3.6, the city attorney appointment compensation package. I would note that the dollars that are reflected here really, it's really a reflection of our efforts to ensure that Nora get paid at least what predecessor Rick Doyle was getting paid, although I know he was eligible for additional benefits that she does not get. When I had conversations with Nora Freeman, she was very clear that she was not asking for more, and she was quite willing to continue to serve. So I'm grateful that Nora stepped up to this role and leading. And I put together a package that is reflected in that memorandum. Councilmember Arenas?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Okay. We'll go to members of the community. Tessa Woodmansee.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I wanted to comment because of the real need in our community is for compensation, and how we're going to move out of a consumer society into a producer society. And in relationship, to the salaries that, we're giving to our attorney, I don't really have any trouble with that, but what we have to start looking at is how we can create a sustainable community for all of us as we go forward. And the thing that is really critical is how we're going to get universal basic income. So this is what we're looking at is how you were able to get the $325,000 for our attorney.
We're just hearing public comment on.
I know we're talking about $325,000 for our attorney. And what I'm talking about is compensation for the public as we move forward. We've got to be able to gather the funds that you were able to gather for an attorney, but we need to gather that together to support a universal basic income. And in that universal basic income that we all are receiving, we can move out of being consumers and capitalism to become a resilient community. And that we all need to learn the skills to become producers. We all need to become, like Nora, provide a service that's of value to each other and our community, that we need to learn to become producers. And the way that will happen is that we need the city to create a universal basic income for all citizens so that we can then learn to become the producers that we all need and service providers for our local community and create a hyper local community that way. And that's what I'm asking for. You know, you're able to gather the money for the 325,000 for Nora, very good. But we need to really start looking at how we can transition out of a consumer society, a fossil fuel-based society, and become a hyper-local community. And UBI will help in that transition.
Thank you. JT?
I think everyone knows that I think every city employee should get a raise. Nora seems extremely professional, very well prepared. I think she's going to do awesome. What I would say is let's find extra things to give her. If we can't give her more money, let's give her more time off or something along those lines. But I think she deserves more than what we're proposing.
Thank you. The person with the phone number ending 5140.
$328,000 and we need to help her buy a car? I don't think so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Hey, yeah, we need to pay her more money. I don't think so. You know what you need to do is fire Captain Tabaldi, who's in charge of permits. Who gets paid that? Permits. Can you imagine we're paying a police captain $300,000 a year in benefits and everything else so she can hand out tickets? Hey, you know, hand out permits. So if I need a permit to have a skunk screw, I got to call Captain Tabaldi. And what, a city lawyer? You can't find someone cheaper out of law school who's got a little bit of experience? Are you kidding me? You wonder why we're going broke. But hey, wait. Make sure we buy brand new BMW motorcycles for more traffic cops that we don't need. You don't need more traffic cops. You need less. A lawyer? No, you guys are spending way too much money. Listen, vote Trump 2020.
Thank you. All right, returning to council on the motion, let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Peralez. Peralez. Yep.
Aye.
Sorry, paralysis aye as well.
Thank you. Carrasco.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Esparza.
Yes.
Arenas.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Camus.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye. All right, item 5.1, our Federal Aviation Administration grant funding for lots of airport safety pavement improvements and air pollution greenhouse gas emission mitigations. I don't believe there's a presentation on this. Is that right?
No presentation, Mayor.
Okay, there's a motion from Councilmember Jimenez. Is there a second? Tessa Woodmansee. Tessa, welcome.
Oh, thank you very much, Mayor. Okay, good. You're doing a good job. You always are pretty good about this. Thank you for always remembering the public. We appreciate it. Except for putting the public in the beginning of the meeting so we don't get 30 seconds at the end. That needs to be improved. However, getting back to this topic of the aviation, the bone in all of our lives, because what is, to really build a sustainable neighborhood and that we are, we are claiming that we are, green San Jose and all these things. What the term sustainable means is that what you're doing could go on forever. Okay, that's sustainable. Okay, it could go on forever. Airports cannot go on forever. Okay, we can't be flying in electrical planes. Okay, thousands of people, lifting thousands of people up. So the airlines are not going forward. They are not a sustainable infrastructure. And we need to stop investing and saying that it's going to be green because we're going to change the cars and the buses that go to our airport. It needs to, and then not looking up in the sky and seeing the fossil fuel that is burning in that aircraft that has not stopped and will not stop. That is not going forward. And so we need to really rethink the support of our airports overall. And this is where we need to, if we're going to meet our goals of having a sustainable community, that has to stop. And so this is where we need to be, we need to be stopping the airports and creating local economies. That's what COVID has taught us. COVID brought us, we got COVID because of the air travel. Let's not forget that. Okay. And so what we're learning from COVID is that we need to stay home. And that's the beauty of, and we need to have an adult conversation about what we're going to let go of, what boat anchors we're going to let go of. And we know that the internet is what has saved us into COVID-19. And we've got to let go of air travel and car travel.
Thank you. JT?
I don't like that the city manager's in control of this. I think we need to take away power from the city manager, and I'd like to see the council be involved here. So let's not give the city manager keys to the house. Thank you.
Thank you. The person with the phone number 5140. Person with the phone number 5140, we're not able to hear you right now. You appear to be muted. Go ahead. Okay, we'll come back to you then. Blair Beekman?
Hi, with this item, this is a time to proceed real cautiously and to be real safe. And, you know, opening up is not exactly a very desirable thing at this time. I think we have to proceed really cautiously and slow. And with that said, the airport issues, this is kind of related. This has been there's been ongoing issues that I mentioned in my first public comment today. There's been ongoing issues about EIR standards, and there's new ways of EIR standards can work at the airport, and it's been efficientized. It's made a more efficient process for yourselves that may skimp a bit on certain air pollution factors that in fact Tessa Woodmansey mentioned previously, I think about 4 or 5 months ago on the subject. You know, vehicles coming in and around the airport is one. There are other items, and there are many factors involved in the EIR studies at the airport at this time that you have to take into account. And just because you have a new efficient system doesn't exclude what everything that surrounds the airport pollution issues. Thank you.
Thank you. The person with the phone number 5140.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Look, you guys aren't going to have enough money to do all these pie in the sky things and Tesla's electric cars that are going to magically fly to the airport and drop people off. Are you even going to have an airport left after this economy? You have to see what's going to happen post-COVID. Business travel is going to go down because the companies are going to clearly see that having Zoom meetings and everything else is far cheaper than having to put somebody up in a hotel and fly them to another place. But in the end, you guys are going to lose. You guys aren't going to be able to make it because you don't have the wherewithal to understand that if these businesses don't get open, you're going to go broke. The whole thing is going to collapse because of your poor management of city council and the mayor and the city manager. You guys are delusional, and if Trump wins, you're going to have a huge problem because he's not going to give you any money since you've crapped on him for the last 4 years, Sam Liccardo. Vote Trump 2020, people, if you haven't already.
Thank you. Returning to the council, any questions? I had just a couple. One, is John available or? Hey, John.
Mr. Mayor.
Hey, just had a quick question. The $45 million airport apron project for the Terminal B, that's almost as much as it cost us to build the whole terminal. Is that really what it cost us for that pavement?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember John Aiken, Director of Aviation. No, the ramp is $45 million. The terminal building was a good portion of the $1.2 billion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was on the new extension of.
Oh, no. So these would be the ramp positions for the future Terminal C. But we want to go ahead, if the FAA is willing to give us the grant money now, it becomes an 80-20 split which is a much better use of our money than to fund it ourselves.
Okay, so the quote unquote temporary gates that we have just added, those have already been accommodated in terms of
Yes.
April expansion and so forth. Okay, so
Yes.
this would be on the next step in the expansion. Okay.
This would take you from gate 36 on to gate 42, the
Got it.
ramp there.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I saw there's money potentially for 30 electric vehicle charging stations. Would those also service, I know there are other vehicles that were discussed, but would those service the electric buses that we have running there as well?
The electric buses we have currently came with charging systems for those. We're really looking at opportunities both for the airport fleet and for our public to put them in the garages and stuff like that. So as our community becomes more electric vehicle, we're providing that service for them while they're parked at the airport.
Yeah, I'm sure that's in big demand. So thank you very much, John. All right, any other questions? Let's vote on the motion.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Perales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Item 8.1 is the purchase and sale and cost payment agreement with San Jose City View LLC for reimbursement of all costs associated with the acquisition parcels at Park Avenue between Almadena Market. Let's go to, there's a presentation. Is that right?
That's right, Mayor. I think Nancy was going to jump on.
Yes,
okay,
thank
Nancy.
you very much. Just having a little bit of trouble with technology here. Yen, will you put up the slides, please? We'll be brief. Thank you. Nancy Klein here to share the key points related to the City View proposed project for purchase and sale of land and the cost payment agreement with J. Paul. The proposed agreement would be the first of 3 or 4 decisions that will come before council on this project. The proposed action supports both the city's Park Avenue redesign as well as the City View project. The subject property, and Yen, can you go to the map? There you go. The subject property is currently right of way that's privately owned and not independently developable. The applicant, J. Paul, has looked and is looking and researching extensively for heirs of the subject property. They have not yet been found and may not be found. And that we will go through the work to make that determination one way or the other. And then once we move forward, knowing that the city can obtain the property will be used as privately owned public open space. And what the agreement before you does is ensure that the city, in doing this work in conjunction with the developer, will not be at cost at all. The developer will cover all costs. So staff recommends moving forward in support of both the City View project as well as the redesign of Park Avenue, and staff is available for any comments or questions you might have.
Great, thanks,
I'll
Nancy.
move approval.
Motion from Councilmember Perala.
Second.
There's a second from Councilmember Foley, I believe. Tessa Woodmansee.
Thank you. I don't have a timer. Oh, there it is. Good. Okay, so basically land use protocols of our city are where we're having a lot of issues, and especially as our general plan of jobs first. And here, this very large development that's happening in our downtown, and of course with a very big developer, J. Paul, and how, there's so many issues here, but to stay focused on the land use issue, that what has happened with our general plan is it all is gone all towards jobs, and that everything is about jobs, and the best jobs are hotels because that brings money to our city. And this is where hotels are sprouting up all over our city. And what we have to do is, and then the city comes back and says these are services that you demand, that the city, that the citizens demand, that we have to provide for you. And we can question that as we look at and redesigning our police force to be more in tune with the people and the needs of the people and being part of our community, and the costs that we're having, and the when we and just in general, that we have to look at how our city is spending money that says that we have to get all these jobs and that residents cannot support the community. That has to be really looked at because I say that it is the throttleneck that has caused our housing crisis, is the lands that have been co-opted by our city, saying it's for jobs to bolster the economy of our city hall. And that's why we have to really look at how our city hall is spending their money, and all the fossil fuels that are being used, and the excesses that are happening, the flying, the driving. This is wrong. And this we have to really look at our general plan to support housing as our primary, and support the people of our city as the most important emphasis.
Thank you. JT?
I'm gonna go find those errors. Actually, when you guys say you're trying to find errors, I doubt it. So I'm pretty good at research, and watch me find them. Thank you.
Thanks. You might save us some money and time. Person with the phone number ending 5140.
Yeah, usually I like to say that you guys shouldn't build anything new, but I actually like these projects that you guys build, these villages and all these little cutesy pie projects, because I like to watch how badly you guys screw it up every single time. So it's actually fun now for me to watch when you guys are going to rezone and redo and build these pie in the sky projects. I mean, remember the pavilion that used to be where Paseo de San Jose is now? Remember that pavilion that had a Fila store in it? You guys, the city spent tens of millions of dollars to build it, complete flop, and it was torn down. Oh, I don't know, 10 years. That's the kind of thing that you guys do. So, and that's what I want to see. It's just funny to watch Mayor Sam Liccardo and the city council fail at everything they do. Once again, if you haven't voted, vote for Trump. Piss off the city council and the mayor.
Thank you. Returning to the council. Councilmember Foley.
Thank you. Nancy, thanks for the report. I recall this coming back to us the first time, but I just wanted to follow up on the quiet title action. We're unable to find the error. So are we pursuing the quiet title action, or is J. Paul?
So
How are we giving them clear title?
Thank you very much, council member. The specific path has not yet been determined, but it's likely that we would move through condemnation and not quiet title because of the length of time, which the courts are taking a longer period of time. And we want to do what is useful to move the project forward. And I do want to point out that if heirs are found, going through condemnation in this instance will actually be better for the heirs. Quiet title would award the city the property. Condemnation would allow the fair market value for the heirs.
So thank you. I appreciate that. So what we will be doing if we get condemnation, thank you. That's a hard word for me to say, is funds will be put in reserve if and when we locate the heirs, when JT locates them for us.
Thank you, council member. J. Paul will pay the purchase price.
Right. I thank you for clarifying that. Okay. Thank you. That's the only questions I had.
You're on mute, Mayor.
Thank you. I was on mute. That was a rookie move. Thank you. All right, let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Prowess,
Aye.
Dip,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas, Arenas, Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Going back to Arenas. Okay, marking absent.
Oh, so sorry, Tony. It's a yes. I apologize.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. On to item 8.2, which is the internal transfer of affordable housing sites. There is a presentation.
Yes, there is. I will share my screen.
Welcome, Rachel.
All right. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. My name is Rachel Vanderveen. I'm the Deputy Director of the Housing Department, and I'm joined today by Kevin Ice. He's the Real Estate Manager with the Office of Economic Development. And we are presenting today a recommendation to purchase city-owned properties with housing funds for the purposes of future affordable housing development. Today's objectives include authorizing the transfer of 3 city-owned parcels to the Housing Department and authorizing the use of low and moderate income housing asset funds for this purpose. The Housing Department and Real Estate, the Housing Department and Real Estate team have been working together to explore every opportunity to find sites for the development of affordable housing. And we've been looking specifically at surplus properties that are owned by the city. This partnership has led to access sites in areas where there's currently limited affordable housing development. The West Community Policing Center is an example of opening an opportunity for the development of new affordable housing in District 1, which is an area where we would like to see more development, but has been difficult to identify sites. Kevin will walk us through each of the 3 sites that we're recommending for acquisition. Kevin?
Thanks, Rachel. Hi, Kevin Ice, Real Estate Manager. So the first site is 3707 Williams Road. This is the location of the West Community Policing Center, which is a 9,800 square foot building that was built in 1984 and located on a 20,000 square foot lot. The site will be transferred for $6,200,000, and this price reflects the appraised value based on a highest and best use of constructing up to 90 housing units with a ground floor commercial component. The site is managed by the Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services Department and is currently the home to the Silicon Valley Korean American Federation, which is a community-based organization that occupies the space rent-free. Staff will work with the Federation to attempt to find a suitable city-owned space for them to move to when redevelopment is ready to proceed. The transfer of this site to the Housing Department gives the opportunity to provide affordable housing units in District 1, which has less affordable housing relatively compared to some other districts in the city. Okay, next slide. The next site is 1749 Mount Pleasant Road, which was originally the location of Fire Station 21. The fire station has since moved to South White Road, and the 2,000 square foot former residence that was constructed in 1964 is now vacant. The lot is 21,000 square feet and can support construction of 4 to 6 units. And this scale of development could provide affordable ownership opportunities to allow families to build wealth. The property is located in District 5 and will be transferred for the appraised value of $900,000. Next slide. The last property to be transferred is 430 Park Avenue, which is currently used as a surface level parking lot. The property will be partially used for the widening of Park Avenue, and the remaining parcel will be roughly 3,000 square feet. With a downtown designation, this parcel will support construction of 4 to 5 housing units. The property is located in District 3 and will be transferred for the appraised value of $555,000. So all told, between the 3 properties, $7,655,000 will be transferred from the low and moderate income housing asset fund and will support the construction of up to 101 units of affordable housing. This action will provide $5,900,000 to the city's general fund, and these transfers are an important part of this fiscal year's budget stabilization strategy. Other funds that were used to acquire the properties will be replenished as required, including $1,650,000 into the Neighborhood Security Bond Fund and $86,000 into the Subdivision Park Trust Fund.
The Housing Department is currently working to develop an affordable housing siting policy that will inform decision-making related to the future siting of affordable housing. Until the new policy is put in place, specific growth areas have identified for new affordable housing development. The Housing Development is recommending that the City Council approve acquisition of all 3 sites, even though the William Road and Mount Pleasant site are not located in growth areas, because they offer unique development opportunities and will provide assistance to the general fund. This concludes our presentation, and we're available for any questions.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Rachel. Let's go to the public first. Tessa Woodmansee.
Thank you. My comments about housing is that our housing needs to include a companion agriculture, food growing, food production, so that we can move ourselves towards localized economy and urban sustainability. We need to be addressing more than one of our crises all the time, because we have so many. And so the housing crisis, I'm glad you're looking at that and doing a good job. I think that's great. But we have to, when we're building to create urban sustainability, we need to have food grown on the properties for the residents to be growing food and becoming producers. That needs to become our new word, is producers, not consumers. And that is how we will work ourselves off of fossil fuels and becoming a resilient neighborhoods. And this is what we need to work on too. Money needs to be put in towards building resilient communities as we face so many catastrophes that are coming. Mass migration is one of the ones that's really happening will happen in our city. So these are issues, but getting back to the issue of housing and companion gardens, that's very important that when we do our general plan, needs to always include that now as we go forward. And so that's one thing in terms of housing. But the other issue is in terms of land use. As we're acquiring land, we have to also look at the issues of losing nature, that we are destroying nature at such a rapid rate. And we are, 2/3 of all animal life has gone away since, man has been doing his work. And now we're up in losing 1 million species. And so we have to look at preserving nature, and we have to, any land that is undeveloped, that has just asphalt, no building on it, needs to go back and produce.
Thank you, Tessa. JT?
I'm just baffled. We've got 7,000 homeless people, and you're taking so much time to talk about 4 to 6 units, maybe 20 total. You guys are not seeing the forest and the trees. You're only seeing the trees. Look at the forest. Make projects that house dozens or hundreds. 4 to 6 units means backdoor deals and a waste of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Blair?
Hi. I was going to try to offer for this issue that, that you are accomplishing something of your own work in San Jose. And with that, there are some interesting ideas developing, hopefully, at the MTC and at the regional level about the future of housing and very low income, extremely low, and mixed income ideas that it's my understanding are being kind of blocked at the state level at this time. And MTC hopefully will want to be learning the job in the next 3 months and years, how to better facilitate a process to allow practices of VLI and ELI and and mixed income to take place. And that's the kind of issues that JT, I think, would be interested in, that could be helpful to bringing in more low income, really low income housing for people, and that can be of real help. And it's quite an effort, and I hope everyone's interested in looking into those issues. And thanks for your time. It's a hopeful time. There are hopeful signs of things if we apply ourselves, and so good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the end of public comments. I'll bring it back to council, and I'll actually start out. First of all, I want to thank staff for the report, and particularly identifying the Williams site as an opportunity site. It has been identified for a while as a high opportunity site, and as it's been mentioned that in District 1 there aren't a lot of those. So I was happy to see that that was one of the parcels that we were going to move on in terms of building out affordable housing. I also wanted to make sure that we also recognize some of the innovative building methods that are taking place right now in terms of modular homes is one technique that we're seeing a lot more of, which is cost effective, high quality, that we definitely want staff to consider as they evaluate these projects. And then finally, we want to try to support the Korean American Federation. They've been long-term tenants in that facility, and I want to do anything we can to make sure that we can find another location for them, preferably in the district, but if not, as close to the district as possible. So I'd like to make a motion to accept my memo.
Second.
All right, and that includes, of course, the staff recommendation.
That includes the staff recommendation.
All right. Councilmember Foley.
I'm sorry, I raised my hand erroneously. I'm putting it back down.
Very well. Councilmember Camus.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate Councilmember Jones's interest in helping the Korean community find a new location. Does PRNS have another idea in mind? Are there reuse buildings available right now, or I know not many people are meeting, but is there something going to get freed up?
We will follow up, Councilmember Nancy Klein, and check in with Parks. We do need to do that. And real estate will also look if there are any other alternatives, whether they be hopefully as close as possible, but what alternatives city properties may offer.
Okay. Yeah, now it would be great if you guys, we don't want them to be, they've been there for quite some time. I've been to several of their events, and I just want to make sure that they are being treated fairly, and that's my purpose of asking that question. Thank you.
This is Andrea Flores from PRNS. We will be releasing the Neighborhood Center Partner Program RFQ in January. It was scheduled to be released in March earlier this year, and we suspended it due to the emergency. So we have notified the Korean community group, and we will ensure that they will be able to compete along with all the community groups in accessing other facilities, and we have communicated that to them. So we will.
Thank you for that.
Great, thank you. I just had a couple questions. One is, when we embark on this effort to kind of look at city sites where we could redevelop for affordable housing, one thought that we had been considering, I know at some depth, was looking at some of the community centers and maybe libraries that were deteriorating and could really benefit from rehabilitation or reconstruction in some way, building housing on top or next to them as sort of a tool for doing that. Have we landed on any sites where we think there's promising opportunity?
This is Rachel Vanderveen from Housing. So yes, we've been working with a combined effort between OED, housing, and parks. And we have developed a list of potential sites. We've gone out and reviewed those sites. And we do have a couple of sites that we think would be, would really provide a great opportunity for that type of development. And so, yeah, we have, and really at this point, what we're doing is just trying to identify the staffing resources necessary to get behind that effort and see how we could move forward.
Great, thank you. Because I know we talk a lot about construction costs, and we may be entering a period this next year where there could be really advantageous construction costs and could be real opportunities. And I think about how, for example, how in the Mumbai development on North 7th Street seems to work very well with the senior center. It's adjacent to it. A lot of seniors benefit enormously from that proximity. And I know we could do that for other seniors or families throughout the city. So thank you for mentioning that you're working on it. I look forward to seeing how we can make something happen. And then secondly, the 430 Park Avenue site. I know that in the presentation, I think it might have been Kevin, I'm not sure who mentioned that there were just 4 or 5 housing units we were contemplating there. And I understand it's very constrained and we got to take some of that site for the road. But as I recall, just from memory, I don't think, maybe if we can go back to that diagram, there are some other adjoining parcels, aren't there, that could be redeveloped? It's not all new development there, right?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Kevin Ice with OED. So the 430 Park property,
yeah,
right here, that is the city-owned lot. There's no adjacent city-owned lot. On the other side of the block, 460 Park is also city-owned, but it's not contiguous.
Right. Okay. So that's on the other side of Sonoma.
It's to the west. Is 460.
Oh, okay. So
Yep,
there's
the other way.
The privately owned. Is that a home in between?
Yes.
Okay. I just know, that is a site that's pretty close to downtown, and there's a lot of density that's built in that area. And I hate to think, I think we'd look at it as a missed opportunity if we only got 4 or 5 affordable units out of that. If there was an opportunity, for example, to talk to adjoining property owners and consolidate, particularly if we've got another site at 460 right on the other side. Has there been any outreach to the other property owners? Or even the property owner in the back, for that matter?
Mayor, it's Nancy Klein. We have had, I believe that the Vidovich family owns most of the adjoining properties, and we didn't reach accord in the past.
Yeah.
So certainly something we could follow up on.
Okay. We're not going to go launch right out to build right away on that, are we?
No.
Okay.
No, I think we do also see this as an opportunity to look and see if we could identify any adjacent parcels that may be able to create capacity to do more here. Yeah,
Okay.
We agree with that philosophy.
Great. Thank you. You guys are 2 steps ahead. All right. Thanks. Let's vote then on the motion.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Perales,
Aye.
Dip,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Kimmis,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 8.3 is to ratify the agreement with the county to provide emergency non-congregate shelter for COVID-19 vulnerable individuals in motels. There's no presentation. I do want to thank Lee and everybody who works so hard, Reagan, Jackie, and everyone on reaching agreement with the county, because I know this has been part of a larger set of negotiations about everything we're doing relating to food and money and everything else, and appreciate that we're able to reach an agreement. The person with the phone number ending 5140. Sir, the person with the phone number ending 5140, we're not able to hear you because the device appears to be muted. Okay. Tessa Woodmansey?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't have my timer though. So I guess the one thing I was thinking about in regards to the issues of the homeless and the, the people that are, trying to give them separation and housing is that, this problem, along with the other social ills that we're facing, always come down to the issue of how we're outreaching to this population to provide safe housing for them. And I appreciate that you're doing that and getting them into hotels and separated housing under our COVID-19 scenario, our homeless population, and separating them and bringing more safety to their community. But the issue boils down to how we're reaching these people. And it just like the issue of mental health in terms of that what we found in the last Black man who was killed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that issue showed us that they had called many times for mental health assistance, just like the homeless are calling out for assistance, as you can see, just in how they're living. And so what it came out of that whole issue, the most recent Black killing by police, is that it was many times they went to his home and did nothing. And the problem that has been looked at from this man from Templeton University on Democracy Now, he says that when we only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And the only place we have to call is police when we need help. And they're not prepared to deal with the issues that we're dealing with, the homeless issues, the mental health issues. So that's why we have to reimagine the whole police force and creating a force that really supports us as humans, not calling it a police force, but be calling it a community force, a neighborhood force, advocates for our homeless and for our mental health people. So that's just something to really think about.
Thank you. JT?
I think it's important to give credit where it's due. So like to applaud the staff. Sounds like you guys are doing an awesome job. I just say keep it up.
Thank you. Blair Bakeman?
Hi, I'm in agreement to learn to find new ways to talk about the police shouldn't be a fearful subject at this time. We're learning, we've gone to the place of having to respect the police, know they do a good job, and from that place, we can talk about more imaginative ideas in our time of reimagining. Thank you. For this issue of the motel issue, I wanted to I feel like politely kind of like offer, you're going to be going through a fall and winter time, and things are going to be like a little tough, it sounds like. San Francisco is working on issues. I don't know exactly where they're at with it, but it's my understanding we're going to see like kind of a rise in COVID possibly throughout the winter, and we're going to possibly see the rise in deaths throughout the winter. Hopefully we're going to keep those deaths to a minimum. But I mean, we're at 70 deaths a month now, I think, or a week. And that number can easily grow to 100 to 120 by this winter time. So, I'm worried, and so this is a program that's important. And, how you're working your houseless and homeless issues previously, and that you're reporting that there hasn't been too many cases, that's great. I hope you can keep up those practices, what's doing that. And I think myself offering this sort of information, and so we're clear with each other what to really expect this winter, that's important. It's been difficult to want to say what to expect, but I hope it's becoming easier now, and people like myself are saying what we can expect this winter. And from there, we can figure out exactly where we need to go and how we need to work. So good luck. We're all building this together, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Council. And actually, forgive me, I mistook this item for the other item, which has to do with cost sharing agreement. So sorry for my misleading introduction. Just on this item regarding the emergency non-congregate shelter, Reagan or Jackie, I know this is a challenging subject for us because we really got sort of these trailers were given to us with about 24 hours notification, and we had to scramble and figure it all out. And I think Reagan was there when the governor was asked a question about the trailers by somebody in the media. And he suggested that lots of other cities got really good trailers. And apparently we got the ones that were all broken down. We ever figure out why we got the ones that were all broken?
Hi, Mayor. Thanks for the question. I don't know if I don't think we were the only city that received trailers that required some repairs. We had a conversation with Oakland, and they had to do some repairs as well. And I also think other cities have been able to make them work because they've just been working with them in smaller quantities, not in the over 100, on one site.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, we learn with every effort, and this was a challenging one, I know, for us, but we've been incredibly successful in getting a lot of people off the street into permanent housing and into emergency housing. So I really appreciate all the great work of the housing team. Councilman Diep?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to say real quick that I appreciate Reagan and Jackie's work on this housing department. I had hoped that District 4 would be a part of today's action. We were trying to identify a parcel in District 4, and we tried to go through the motions of doing it, but wouldn't you know it, state regulations and whatnot prevented us from being able to build on the site. So I just want to underscore for the members of the public listening and commenting. I believe, I won't speak for everybody, but I believe everybody on this dais, this council, really is pushing for to get affordable housing for homeless, housing of all sorts in every single district, all across our city. And identifying those parcels again, where they are near the creeks or how close they are to schools or who owns the land and what the land can be done under that ownership are obstacles and hurdles and riddles within enigmas. So I admire Reagan and Jackie and her staff for trying to follow the rabbit hole all the way to the end and doing what we can with the obstacles ahead of us, and we'll keep pushing on. Thanks.
All right. Is there a motion? Forgive me.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Foley. Let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Crosco,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Locardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, now we're on to 8.4, which is the cost sharing agreement with the county for isolation quarantine support program, community health and business engagement teams, and meal delivery service. There is a presentation on this item.
There is, and I'm just going to verbally do it because it was literally one slide. I'm Jackie Morales-Ferran. I'm the Director of Housing. Glad to be talking to you before 11 o'clock at night. I'm joined today with three folks from the EOC, including CJ Ryan and Dolan Beckel, who work on the food team, and Andrea Flores-Shelton, who's in the Community and Economic Recovery team. And then from the City Attorney's Office, we have Renee Ortega, who has been extremely helpful in getting our agreement done with the county. So I just wanted to highlight there are three components of this agreement. The first one, which is the housing component, is that the city is agreeing to transfer $4.5 million of City Cares money to the county to support an isolation and quarantine program. So they asked us, did we want to participate in their program or did we want to set up our own? And we thought participating in their program, which was already up and running, was the most efficient and effective. And so the 4.5 includes covering costs for the motel rooms and all the support that will be offered or is currently being offered in the motel rooms, such as services, the laundry, transportation, and then people have an opportunity to stay at home as well. And so it's at-home support services. And it also includes all the program oversight and then rental and financial assistance for people who can no longer work and might not have any kind of income. They're providing rental assistance to ensure that the families are stabilized. The second component is the food component. And the county has agreed to transfer $724,000 for food delivery services for non-city residents and motels for both the vulnerable hotel program and the isolation quarantine hotel program. And in this case, the city already had a well-running program that we had already implemented that was efficient. And so the county asked us if we would agree to continue to provide those food delivery services to the hotel programs. And then the last component of the agreement you already approved, which was a payment of $500,000 to the county to expand their community health and business engagement teams. So all of this CARES money, and so our agreement includes reconciling our fund by November 30th so that we can finalize all the numbers to ensure that money gets spent by the required timeline. And so with that, we are open for questions.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the public. Professor Woodmansee.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for the screen too. Okay, good. So I guess, housing and meals, that's fabulous that you're doing that. And like I said, it's what I've just seen in my community is the lack of access to a lot of these programs, and how do the homeless find out about these programs? And that's where, I think that the reimagining of our police force, because it's the only ones that are, in our community that we can turn to. And that's where, other cities, I think it was in Seattle or somewhere, that they're actually encouraging the walking of the beat. And I think that has to become part of our, as we move forward, the reimagining of our police, that are our community service workers. I don't even want to call them police. I know we're talking about the whole issue of the homeless, but what I'm seeing is that and the meals that are provided, how we're going to connect these people to the resources to help them. And that's the challenge that has been happening, pre-COVID, when I, have homeless people on my street on Stockton Avenue, can't find help for them. And so, and that they've been involved with the police a lot. And I always wondered, like, they knew this woman who was living homeless in her car in my neighborhood. The police knew her, and yet nothing happened. Nothing, I was trying to help, provide housing for her or whatever I could do. And so what we need is these community service officers that are in our community and walking the beats of our neighborhood, and without a car and without a gun. And then we talk to our neighbors, we find out how everybody's doing, and we solve the problems. We do the resource and referral right there on our streets with our community service workers. That's the way.
JT?
So we're seeing that we have to pay the county money, and I think that that's ridiculous. This county is headquarters to the richest, most powerful companies in the world: Google, Facebook, Apple, tons of semiconductor. It's time for San Jose elected representatives to finally stand up to the county. We get crapped on always. We get the homeless. We have the jail. You guys actually need to stand up, and they don't need the money. Facebook could pay the whole bill in a rounding error. So I think that it's finally time to change the way we do things. Let's see if the county will take $0 given how much they have. Thank you.
Thank you. Blair Beekman?
Hi. The past few weeks, San Jose Council committee meetings have, the CED meetings, they worked on issues, and I think it was rules on open government. They worked on issues of like long-term affordable housing issues for the next year. And at the rules and open, that was the CED meeting. At the rules and open government meeting last week, they talked about issues of middle income housing ideas and plans. So you have an interesting array set up, and the CED meeting, I really recommend everyone review, and it'll be, I think, on the council agenda in the next few weeks, and in the next year. I mean, it's basically, it's how to talk about our community issues. It's how to talk about reform and demilitarization and all the good stuff. And you're taking incredibly new, important, well, you're taking important new steps. And it's really nice to see, and it's encouraging. And I hope we can all be involved in the process and want to be involved. And you're talking about it this time, really with really good intentions, I think, to help kind of like unite the community and for a whole community experience that we can all take part in, the future of our community based on these housing plans and practices. It's really interesting stuff, and thank you for doing it at this time in our lives, and in the timing of it. And I have my issues, of course, with some of the middle income things, as acceptable as it can be. But everybody has, and that's part of the process. So thanks, and good luck to all of us, and just be able to hear the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, returning to council. Are there any questions or comments?
Is there a motion, Mayor?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, no motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Thank you. I just had one question. It really relates to the funding that we're providing now for isolation. I assume all those dollars, the 4.5 million, is primarily for folks who can't afford to isolate where they are. Is that right, Jackie?
That is correct.
Okay.
It's that they don't have the space to isolate where they are.
Yeah.
So they're in overcrowded conditions.
Right.
Or they could be homeless as well.
Right. So super important priority given where we know the virus has had its most detrimental impact in parts of our city where we know there's a lot of overcrowding and a lot of families struggling in the same space. What I wanted to understand better is how well people are really being notified about the opportunity to be able to get access to hotels. I've gone back on the county website and looked at it in English and Spanish. It still seems to be pretty hard to find. I mean, I was able to find it because I've been on the site several times looking for it. And I'm just wondering how folks are they getting this information everywhere they're getting tested, or?
So where they get the information is that it's actually given to them by the contact tracers. And so when somebody's been identified, then the county gets all the information, and then county tracers call everyone and then offer services. And so out of all the people that have potentially needed the services, they've only not been able to reach 8% of people. And so that means the overwhelming numbers of people they actually do contact, they always offer the services.
Okay. Do we have a reasonable level of confidence that people who really need the services are being made aware?
Well, again, the people who are eligible to receive the services are people that have had either contracted the virus, right? So they need to be removed and they can't do it safely, be isolated or quarantined. And then there are people who've been exposed. And so I suppose there could be people who've been exposed that may not be aware because, again, you have to be contacted by a tracer. But I do know that's one of the reasons why they're trying to push the information out by their EOC. And I think our EOC was also pushing information out. And I know council members have been pushing information out in their districts as well.
Okay, well, I'll do the same then.
But I will, I will follow up on the website. That's something we can definitely look into and ask them to provide greater clarity.
That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? All right, let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Go,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now have time for open forum. Tessa?
Oh, good. Thank you so much. I guess my dream, like I told you, that Pope Francis says that we have to dream together, or because what happens when we are all alone, which many of us are, we have what did he call it? Mirages, and it's the conspiracies and the fears that we have. So dreaming together. So my dream, I have a dream, and the dream is that we need to take the land at 615 Stockton Avenue and have it, because it's undeveloped right now. It's just a asphalted piece of land, and it's got a little building on it. But I have another idea what we can use that for. But the open land that's been undeveloped is a parking lot, essentially, needs to be turned into a garden, and a community garden where we learn to grow food. And my suggestion is that it's Allery Middlebrook who has taken 76 Race Street and taken an asphalt and then turned it into the Valley of Heart's Delight. And we need to, reverse it. What does the song say? Pave paradise, put up a parking lot. Well, we need to pull down the parking lots and bring back paradise. And that's what we need to do. And, that's one of the major jobs that we can't wait for, is to bring nature back and to create an urban sustainability where we're growing food locally. And so this is part of it, is that this is what this lot would be used for, is a garden to show how we took asphalt and we created a garden of Earth's Delight. And then the building would be used, that's currently there, to be a school for the pagan arts, which was my homeschooling for my kids, is what we called it. And it's learning to be producers, learning to be, what we can make, and finding out our neighborhood, building resilient neighborhoods, and finding out what everybody knows how to do, and then learning to live without fossil fuels, learning all the skills to live without fossil fuels, cooking and
Thank you. JT?
Well, this is probably great news for all of you. This is the last time you'll ever hear me on one of those meetings. I'm moving next week. I sold my house, and just wanted to wish everyone the best and go through a couple of things. Funny story with me and the mayor. The first time I met him was when I asked him to apologize for the Donald Trump rally, and he actually refused. I mean, to this day, he hasn't actually ever apologized to us. Councilmember Jimenez, you're an awesome guy. I think that you've got a bright future ahead. Councilmember Foley, I could see you being next mayor. Councilmember Carrasco, to me, it seems like you kind of see this as your side job, like you're waiting for your next thing. So I would love to see more passion from you. It doesn't have to be time, but you really need to step up the passion. Councilmember Arenas, I would love to actually see you stand for the flag, Pledge of Allegiance with your hand over your heart. One time I saw you sitting, and another time I saw you off camera. Johnny Camus, I think, is definitely going to be the next county supervisor. And let's see. Oh yeah, Len Diep, I think you're out. Councilmember Davis, I hope you narrowly win this, but I don't think you will. And in the end, This place has a lot of potential. We really need to get more people with technology backgrounds in here. Like when the mayor shot down the Amazon offer because we were going to give a $2 billion, tax deduction. Well, if you're bringing in $5 billion and you have to give away 2, that means you still have 3. So, Mayor, you literally did the same math that AOC did, and I hate to put you and AOC at the same brain length. I'm excited for who's replacing Johnny Camus. I think he could also be mayor, but I'd love to see Pam Foley take it. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you for the meeting today on this election day. Happy election day. I wanted to, I missed there was a meeting asking about what should the next police chief be like for districts 3 and 6 last night. And I was at a previous meeting for districts 4 and 5 on the subject. And like I've been saying here in these meetings, I really like, I don't know his rank, but Anthony Mata as a choice. And if he won't be the final choice, I really feel that he has to be kind of one of the front runners in how to decide the job and how to look for a new police chief. And maybe that's what I should say from now on. It's just that I really think he has the qualifications and the temperament, and he speaks different languages. And, I think he's a really great choice. And, I'm a bit strong with my, accountability with technology ideas, but I really think, what Tessa was talking about a lot tonight, what I try to talk about, how do we develop a community police? And that means better communication skills and just, engaging with the community on really deep subject matter. And I think Anthony Mata can really do that. And, I've said a few things about, we're at a time we can really distance ourselves from even, the military industrial state. And that's what the prison military industrial state. And that's what we're deciding upon. And I think Anthony Mata is a really, gentle soul and a really good choice all around how to consider the position. And so good luck on this election day. And I hope we keep it together and we think about our better parts of ourselves if things get a little tough. Thanks.
Thank you. The person with the phone number ending 5140.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hey everyone, not enough money, roads are bad, but we've got more traffic cops. That's the most disgusting thing I've heard you guys talk about yesterday in a meeting, was getting more and more traffic cops. We don't need more and more traffic cops giving out 300 citations in the downtown due to Sam Liccardo's misguided bike lanes. Those are the most non-intuitive bike lanes in the world. And, I'm a very careful driver. It's hard not to get into the bike lane the way they were designed downtown. It's a fallacy. It's a folly. You guys are crazy to have done that. And if I got a citation for those stupid bike lanes, I would never pay it. I think you guys don't realize that the traffic court's closed indefinitely. So those tickets that you gave people are all hanging over their head and causing them problems. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. Nothing like those police with their German police dogs, their German weapons, and their German motorcycles. You guys see a little similarity with what happened in the 1930s and 40s in Germany? They had plenty of German arms and vehicles. Wow. So yeah, that's the kind of police department that you have. And Sam Liccardo, shame on you in 2016 when you and your mini-me reach-around buddy allowed the Trump supporters to be beaten down by 250 panty-waist losers in downtown San Jose. Everybody who supported that on your city council and yourself and the 250 officers and Eddie Garcia, you should all hang your heads in shame. You lost all credibility that day. You guys are a bunch of...
Thank you. All right. Well, today's election day, so everybody go vote. Have a good night.